Good afternoon. If there's anyone about, it's getting set up for the relegation 6-pointer in the Premier League. And as you can hear, goals are coming in. So let me just check YouTube's okay. Right. So there's two of us. Do let me know, whoever's watching, if you can see and hear me okay. Looks like it's just me at the moment. So do let me know if anyone's here. And in the meantime, I'll get prepared. Right. Oh, two of us now. Fabulous. Hello, Paul. Nice to see you. You got the sound? Excellent. And you can see the screen okay and all that. Brilliant. Just get ready. Let's give this a bit of legwork. It's going to be I don't know what kind of a Sunday it's going to be. There's matches spread around time-wise. Well, we can say goodbye to Thai footy today. Swedish Superettan, 75th minute, 1-1. Red card involved. So stick that one on the watch list, I think. Allsvenskan, AIK and Djurgården. This looks like a big gun meeting, this one. Early season. Gaias and Mjällby, no strong opinion there. AIK and Djurgården I would describe as a derby-style match, so you know what you're going to get from that, i.e. you don't know what you're going to get. Espanyol and Andorra, 1.67 favourite, is a goal down. Third in the league against 22nd, we've got that conundrum again. A relegation threatened side leading. Now, can Espanyol get out of it? We've got to make sure that there's still some motivating factor for these sides. And we can do that best. We're getting Soccer 24 up. Hello, Henry. Nice to see you. Do let me know if you have any problems hearing or if there's any problems with the transmission. So we're just going to check out Espanyol and Andorra, third against 22nd. That's what we were missing yesterday from In Play Guru, was those league positions for a large proportion of the match for the live stream yesterday. Did make life a little difficult. Getafe and Sociedad. Getafe trying to break into the top six. Sociedad trying to stay in the European places. Finally poised at 1-1. Get rid of a few of these. And there's the Islamic Republic of Ireland, Leinster semi-final. It looks like the Islamic Republic of Ireland now. My relatives over there are accurate in their assertions. HamKam against Strømgodset. You can see the market, can't you? And if you weigh up only a smattering of matches, it's very difficult for us to have any real confidence unless there are some emphatic stories via the In-Play stats. So a lot of peripheral football we don't really need at the moment. And I'm not working the league's filter on In-Play Guru because we had that problem with connection yesterday. And it seemed to clear when I unfiltered the league. So I'm having to do this manually. But it's a little quiet at the start. We've got the relegation 6-pointer in the Premier League. Very tough match. St. Pauli normally have 2 goals in them, when they're favourite at least. This is finally poised for second in the league against fifth, so top 5 clash. Karlsruhe and Hertha Berlin, I would expect Hertha Berlin to have been a little more favoured today. They are desperate to get out of this damn league. stuck there for far too long. Hansa Rostock and Magdeburg. This is a 47th minute lead for a 2.45 favourite. Now, arguably, you could be laying Magdeburg here on the assumption that 2.45 the favourite does not suggest such a comfortable leader. We've had some success with this and some failures with this. I don't have a strong set of stats to provide you with a strike rate for this. It's ad hoc, I think. It's if you weigh up the stats, etc. Everton and Forest, cool, talk about nerves. The winner could stay up. That's how important this match is. And I'm having to drink my beer now, I'm afraid. My fridge is broken. So that's my excuse for getting drunk while doing a live stream. So you'll have to excuse me. My fridge is kaput. None of the fridge repair people in Pattaya want to work on a Sunday for some reason. Vejle against Hobydovre in the Super League and 2.2 the favourite. So we've got a favourite, a goal down. Just get rid of some of the peripheral stuff. Beijing Guan, go on, father. Have a cup of tea, father. Oh, Beijing Guan. Ah, father. Love a bit of father Ted with Beijing Guan. Cercle Brugge against Antwerp, 2.4 the favourite, but this is starting to motor, isn't it? But the shots on target are a little light, but the secondary stats for Club Brugge and indeed 47 dangerous attacks suggest that that draw might be layable at some point. Las Glints against Hartberg, 1.83 the favourite, so you've got an obvious bias there towards Las Glints, and that's us set up. So we've just got to have a look at Espanyol against Andorra. Just want to see if Espanyol still have some fight in them. So we'll go to the live here. I'll get rid of all of these from yesterday. This was all, I think they've all, oh, okay, they've all, no, they've all gone. These are all odds on favourites from yesterday. We use these to generate trading angles. Not many after the live stream yesterday. Napoli didn't get that equaliser, but if you did take insurance out, no problem. And Guingamp didn't get that equaliser either, but it didn't go to 0-2. So again, if you took out insurance, 0-1, just based on in-play stats, Guingamp really should have equalised. But a 0-1, if you've taken out insurance, it's a break even. It's nothing to be worried about. So that's yesterday's done. We just got to get to Espanyol at some point. Espanyol Andorra. So have a look at the Andorran goal first. Was it free kick, goal from open play? Was it a lucky goal? Don't forget, it was Gil scoring. So looking at the standings as they are, I suggest that Andorra will be a tough nut to crack, given where they are. This is a harsh league to not get relegated from. 4 places for the relegation, and we're not talking about relegation playoff either. All 4 get relegated. So the onus is on Andorra to get the win today. It'll keep Mirandes, Cartagena, Alcorcon, Huesca, Eldense all in that relegation dogfight. That's what Andorra would need. Take 3 points away from that, and you'll see they're bottom of the league. So this is absolutely crucial. This is the dilemma we face at this stage of the season. You've got an obvious favourite, banging in the goals, not losing, could be on the cusp of automatic promotion with a win today. Take that 3 points onto 58, that's 61. Could be in the automatic promotion spots on goal difference. So it's a finely poised. We've had so many of these, incredibly hard to read, aren't they? You get unexpected wins from the strugglers against sides who are top 3, top 4, top 5. So it's a fascinating match. In-play stats, I think, will reveal more about whether Espanyol can get through this Andorran defence, and you bet it's going to be a tough nut to crack, because you can see there no shots on target at all. I just want to make sure you're all okay. Hi, Mark. Nice to see you. Thank you very much, Paul, for the update. I'm glad there's no buffer. I haven't put up the... I've got the Thai version up at the moment. So that seems to be working out. I've got Football 24 up in my virtual private server if I can get online. It's just because I've changed the Proton connection. So we should be back up and running. So we've got Football 24 up here. That's where you hear the dings. So I'll just get that Sirius from yesterday. It was a break even. And that's what I'm talking about. Early season, only 3 matches played. How can you be confident in picking Sirius here? With only 3 matches played. But Varnamo, first match of the season, they failed to concede 2 or 3 goals in. So they'll be delighted with that. I might have to transfer to my telephone again. You can see the screen is a little blurry. That's down to the virtual private server. But I'll see if I can get that sorted. Okay. So we've got Odd and Geffler. We've got that red card for Geffler. Blackburn Rovers and Sheffield Wednesday. Don't have a strong opinion here, but could be a late lay the draw, particularly given Sheffield Wednesday have been managing to score 2+ goals regularly enough. Getafe and Sociedad, so nothing much early doors. St. Pauli as well would be looking at that draw ending at some point. So let's have a look at the in-play stats. So 10 shots off target for Oddevold in a Superettan, very, very early in their season as well. And given the fact that these two are finding winning difficult, this could be an opportunity for Oddevold, who sound like they're a newly promoted side to the Superettan. I don't recognise them from last season. I recognise Geffler, who tend to score and concede 2 goals. So we might see that draw ending. But can you trust Oddevold? They have scored 2 goals only once this season, failed to score against Ogre at home, and scored only the single goal away at Landskrona. That's the concern, just the 1 shot on target coming in the 80th minute. We don't have any expected goals ratio or any attacking pressure index, which would be very useful when you're taking on draws at the end of matches. So we don't have them. Just the 10 shots off target, which for me isn't compelling enough to lay Geffler just yet. Or lay the draw, sorry, just yet. Hanover and St. Pauli, arguable that it's needs must for both teams. St. Pauli would be delighted to get automatic promotion. Let's have a look at these two. You can hear a goal coming in. St. Pauli and Hanover. Just have a quick look at the live standings for these two sides. See if we can get a decent argument for taking on that draw. So St. Pauli did score first. Pre-match odds, initial look, 2.38 the favourite. So that's a warning sign. That's suggesting it's going to be a tough match to read as far as the market's concerned. So take that on board. Looking at the standings, what are the motivating factors for these two? Let's have a look. Again, it's a very, very harsh league. There is no playoff places for promotion. Oh, only the 1 place. That's very harsh. So Hanover in 6th. Ordinarily, if they were in the English Championship, they'd be delighted. They'd have a playoff place. But add another 2 points to that, take them to 48. Still, you've got to break the magical 50-point barrier to get anywhere here. St. Pauli will be looking at keeping Dusseldorf at bay. So another 2 points for them will break them into the 60-point barrier. Psychologically comforting 60-point barrier for St. Pauli if they can get that win today. So this is a match full of interest. 2.45 the favourite. Magdeburg, not that interested in them. So while it's a little quiet, we did have a goal come in. So let me just check that one out. Okay, who did that go to? Kick to Panserikos, I think. Or any of the others down the road. So let's have a look. Oh, no, it was the Oddevold goal. There you go, against Gefler. So if you did lay the draw, and I must say, please don't wait for me to take action, please. Okay. Sometimes I get distracted. I know a lot of you go off on your own, which is excellent. And I hope you'd have got a compelling argument with that Gefler and Oddevold. Enough to take on the 10-man Gefler side with an Oddevold win. So if you did play, well done. That was the goal that you heard. So this is one of your key trading angles, or one trading angle is a red card. Red cards have a tendency to change matches. I say tendency because it's not always the case. It's all dependent on match by match and team by team. If you've got Man City, for example, 10-man down, Arsenal, 10-man down, sorry, 1 man down, 10 players, they're not necessarily going to lose. Arsenal did that famously early on in the season, playing with 10, and they still won. So some sides you don't automatically assume will cock it up down to 10. So that was that Gefler match there. I'll have to find a solution for Football 24 because the remote desktop connection is looking a bit weary. I'm getting it upgraded to a better operating system next week, I hope. So let's catch up on our in-play stats. There we go, that's the goal there. And afraid Dr. Stephen Hawking, who normally tells me about these goals, he didn't on this occasion. I've got the goal alerts on, so I don't know what went wrong there. But we can discount that now, unless that's returned. I'm not too sure. While that's happening, let's collect our odds on favourites. Aston Villa, marginal odds on today. Liverpool are a shaky 1.67 away at Fulham. You could just sense the fear in the Liverpool side now. Suddenly, everything's falling apart. Can't beat sides you could normally beat. You're out of Europe, could be out of the Premier League title. End the season with sweet FA. So odds on favourites, we're collecting them. 3 out of 4 in Italian Serie A. And this, like red cards, it's another trading angle. So this is 2.25 the favourites. You've got to be a little wary there. Atletico Madrid, 1.91. Real Madrid, Barca. This is another derby-style match. There's your Espanyol, Andorra. So we would have been alerted to that with this odds on favourites system. Hacken and Brummer in the Allsvenskan. Malmo getting another win yesterday. 1-0. And there's the Oddevold goal against the red-carded Gefler. So do look for red cards. You can see they can change games markedly, and you can often profit from that. Galatasaray playing newly promoted Pendikspor today. Deserved favourites, but don't forget Pendikspor got a late draw against Besiktas away at Besiktas. So they might not be the pushovers you normally assume promoted sides are. Las Linz against Hartberg. Red Bull Salzburg, well, they haven't been this short for a very long time. Playing Austria Klagenfurt today. Hi, Stephen, and hi, Sean. Nice to see you both. So I'm just collecting my odds on favourites. Belgian Jupiler League, Charleroi against Eupen. And it's still very quiet in the relegation 6-pointer in the Premier League, as you'd expect. Probably looking for Everton to nick a 0-0 at half-time and build on that second half, as they used to do under Sean Dyche, before it all went pear-shaped. HNL 1 League, it's a Zagreb derby, and Lokomotiv Zagreb beat Dinamo in the comeback after the winter break. So a bit of revenge and a sudden swing towards DZ. Rijeka, your usual odds on favourites as well in the Croatian HNL 1 League. And Slavia Prague, usual odds on. Slovan Liberec, the other odds on. The other two matches look a little tough to unpack. So we do this. If you can do this whenever you're trading as well, it gives you an opportunity to try to get some trading angles. Like this one, for instance, you can be on the alert now for a possible second half goal. You've got a 1.7 favourite, 1-1. 1.44 Copenhagen in the Championship group in the Danish Superliga. English Championship, Blackburn and Sheffield Wednesday, as I say. Well, I'm just going to star this. It's not an odds-on favourite, but you're looking for a draw to end. Man United against Coventry. I wouldn't be so dismissive of Coventry after what they did to Wolves. This could be very interesting. So where did this goal come? This is why I prefer the app, but I've got to use my telephone, I'm afraid, at the moment. This is why I prefer the app, because you don't have to break from what you were doing. Yeah, so I'm not sure the goal there. I can't get this to go down. So I might have to revert to my telephone. This is unacceptable, really. I can't get this virtual server to work, as you can see. And this is going to be stuck now. It's just a bit of a mess. So let me get that up. And there's that goal for Sheffield Wednesday. More of a later lay the draw for me. That would have been as you saw me do yesterday. We got that goal in the Southampton match yesterday late on, but it went to Cardiff. That's the kind of thing you look for with Sheffield Wednesday. Been scoring regularly. They do need to win as well. So I'm just going to transfer to the application now for Football 24. And again, I have to choose my leagues. So you've got the opportunity to take away all of these secondary and peripheral leagues that will just ding all day long. And you don't want that. As you can hear in the background. You just want to be alerted when it's matches of some importance. Like there, that's an odds-on favourite. And that's at Hartberg against Lask Linz. And we've already alerted you to the fact that Lask Linz are favourite here. So that could be a potential play today. So I'm just going to work through Football 24. Just make sure we're only focusing on leagues that we want to know scores in. So get rid of all of the Brazilian. Czech Republic's got a hell of a lot of football. Cambodia, for example. Canada. Chinese Super League. That's a good league to trade, but you have to be up early for that one. The formed lines tend to be very good. Super League, First Division, I'll stick with them. In Denmark. So as you can see, I'm working through alphabetically. Faroe Islands, women's football. Don't think we'll be trading that today. I've just got that feeling, you know. And Germany has a hell of a lot of footy as well. So let me get all of these Germans out of the way. Greek Super League, we'll be playing that today. We're not doing Hong Kong. And now I'm going to work up as well, because it could be Zimbabwe, Zambia, Wales, Venezuela, Uzbekistan. And get rid of the leagues we don't need, don't want. UAE, Turkish Women's League, Coupe de Tunisia. So much football throughout the world. So in the meantime, do keep an eye on the Espanyol stats. Third against 22nd. Are 22nd going to be vulnerable, or will they hold out? Will they score a second? It could be a good one for insurance, couldn't it, this one? If you're making the assumption. God, there's so much football in Spain. I thought they're on siesta in the afternoon. Scottish FA Cup today. Romanian One League. I think Celtic played yesterday. Extra in Poland. So I'm at the P's now. Norway, Tippeligaen, Eliteserien playing today. Good league. Probably 4 o'clock start there. We're at Morocco, Malta, Macau, Luxembourg, Lithuania, Lebanon, Latvia, Saudi Arabia. South Korea, get rid of. Kenya as well. I won't be joining the Kenyan leagues just yet. Italian Serie A. There we go. We'll keep the Israelis. And that's it. So I've got Football 24 set up now. So all I'm going to be alerted to, there we go. There's the St. Pauli second goal as I suggested. So this could be one of those Sundays where you listen to what I say and maybe take action if I don't. Already got the Oddevold and Geffler, and we've got the St. Pauli second goal. They do tend to have second goals in them. So let me just finish this piece here. So we're down at Faroe Islands. So we've done our leagues we fancy at Football 24. This is just focusing narrowly now on odds-on favourites only, because the market's given us an idea who they fancy. So they've done the heavy lifting for us. We just have to see whether the market was accurate. It's a tough-looking Bundesliga today, isn't it? 2.38, 2.45, 2.10. Very tough-looking Bundesliga. So as you can see, there's tons of German football. This is what I've just had to go through on Football 24. This is going to be a lot quicker because we're just looking at odds-on favourites. Panathinaikos playing I think Lamia, newly promoted, and they've got a fabulous derby. I think PAOK. It's Thessaloniki, so yeah, it's Athens v Thessalonica. It's normally a humdinger, that one. I wouldn't mind attending an Olympiakos match one day. I've been past the stadium on the train. Beitar Jerusalem odds on. There's that third goal for Sheffield Wednesday. 2-goal ahead of Blackburn. That could be one foot in the door for promotion. They'll be delighted with that today. So lots of Italian footy as well. So we do these odds-ons. Just makes our life a lot easier. And you can hear the sound when a goal has come in. Probably Norway next, after Mexico. No, Nigeria. Here's the Elite Serie Brann, odds on against Odd. Sarpsborg, Viking against Fred. And we got the first derby-style match of the season, Bodo Glimt against Molde. Two of the likely top 3, top 4 sides this season. So that's going to be a cracker, but a tough one to unpack. Bodo Glimt been an excellent side to follow. Legia Warsaw, Lech Poznan, odds-on favourites, and poor Cracovia earlier on. That would have been saved by insurance. Arca Gdynia, well worth following in this league as well, in the first division. But that's gone already. La Liga Portugal, Sporting Lisbon a bit later on. Porto, the big boys are out this evening. Famalicão and the Chavs are out at 3:30. So do look out for your catalytic converters when the Chavs are about. Maritimo used to be in the Portuguese Primeira Liga. Odds on at 3:30, so that'll fit in to the live stream. That's the goal for Antwerp against Cercle Brugge. I don't have an opinion there. Rangers turn today against Hearts. Could be a tough encounter this for Rangers. Hearts the third or the next best side. If you take the Old Firm away in the SPL, you saw Aberdeen taking it to extra time yesterday. So it might be a very tough match for Rangers, this one, a bit later on. So well worth following. And there's the Spanish leagues, which I've just done at Football 24 as well. Go through all of this lot. You don't want them at all. So we'll say ta-ra to these. And what you can do as well, if you've got leagues that you fancy, just put the star and they go to the top of the screen. But I'm just interested in odds-on favourites in every single league. None of them today in Switzerland. Prachop Kirikan, that's where I normally live. And Everton have the opening goal against Nottingham Forest. That could be a crucial goal for them today. Sakaryaspor, Corum, odds on today. Not sure we'll play the one leg. Might be lacking liquidity, but it's a great league for the last match of the season. We did that last year and it was brilliant. Very exciting last days of the season because you've got to do your homework. You've got to know, like Portsmouth, who's already up, Stockport, Wrexham, already job done, MK Dons, already job done. So you've got to be very careful, Certainly not job done here, but look at the difference that this goal will have made for Everton. We know they've got a very defensive bent about them under Sean Dyche. Nottingham Forest have been a bit hit and miss under Nuno Espirito Santo. They started off very brightly, of course. That's the new manager syndrome that we all know and love. So it's a tough one, that. Relegation 6-pointers. Just want to have a look at what this has done so far. So these two are trying to stay above water. That's all they're interested in. Got to stay above that third bottom place by enough points that any Luton win won't bother you. But it's not looking good for Forest, is it, currently? They take 3 points away from Everton, and you'll see they're banging trouble as well on 27. So this is absolutely crucial. These matches are very, very tough to call. But normally, when it's a draw late on, you'd be laying that draw, wouldn't you? Because a win could be season-defining for these teams. Simple as that. Do please read the previews if you want. They're free, and they're extremely well written. And I would also caution you to have a look here as well. If you want some added extras, take the Everton-Nottingham Forest match. But if I mention the pre-game facts, they don't account for the fact this is a relegation 6-pointer, and it's an individual match rather than one of a season over the season, if you understand what I'm saying. This is a one-off, got to get the win. But these pre-game facts are brilliant. At least one first-half goal has been scored in Nottingham Forest's last 5 games. So if you read these beforehand, perhaps take note. Everton have won just one of the last 5 Premier League home games. Oh, dear. Nottingham Forest have won just one of the last 5. Oh, dear. Everton have won just one of the last 5. So 50% in Forest Premier League away games this season. Seen both sides score before half-time. So again, you've got these little pre-game facts, which might tempt you into laying Everton. 50% of Forest, if you're happy to take a punt, a 1 in 2 chance that you'll get both teams to score in a Nottingham Forest away match, then attack this in the half-time market. At least one first-half goal being scored, we know that already. Pre-game facts, if you want to read them, go backwards. Otherwise, they'll automatically move forwards, and I don't normally give you enough time. The match previews here as well are superbly written, and they're completely different to the ones here. What I would recommend you do, use ChatGPT if you want a really good look at a match that perhaps I don't want to research myself. So you take the research from here, the preview, but make sure it's pre-match because it disappears, as you can see there. Just take the preview there, take all of those pre-game facts, cut and paste them, stick them in ChatGPT, take the preview here, stick that in ChatGPT, and ask it something like this. Turn all of this information into an informative preview of the match. In the conclusions, state the possible winner, correct score, and any other betting angles that come from the information provided. Make sure you make this into an original article, provide a list of key stats in the conclusion. And hey presto, you'll come up with some really solid angles. As you can see, fridge repair and patio. That's what I'm looking at the moment. That's my lifestyles of the rich and famous, fridge repair. So this is Fiorentina and Paulson, for example. Prediction 1-0. Accurate prediction, I would suggest, given the 2 0-0s for Paulson recently. You've got your key stats at the bottom here. Clean sheets in 7 consecutive, so tough nut to crack. Under 2.5 goals. So you've got a pervading pattern. Use AI, please, and use freely available information. I am old school, I'm afraid. And when I do my research, I do it with soccerstats.com. and I'm looking more statistical, but the information provided here will give you team news. It'll give you head-to-heads, which I don't tend to look at because teams change so often. Yes, there are bogey teams, but teams change so often you can't really rely on head-to-heads. So 1-0, Nottingham Forest. Will they draw? Well, if you fancy that stat that I just showed you, go to the Everton match, look in the half-time markets, try to keep your liability low. Try to keep it very, very low, because this is just a punt. It's not based on any in-play stats just yet. Well, we haven't really looked at them, but there we go. That's low enough to have a bit of a tickle, isn't it? And that's 0-1 for Kolding against Aalborg. I think that will be Norway. I'll just confirm. Danish First Division. Karlsruhe 3-1 against Hertha Berlin. Awful from Hertha. Their fans must be really suffering at the moment. So laying up 1.14, keep your liability low. So that's just a little play, £3 liability. 10 minutes to go, plenty enough time, particularly when you're relegation threatened like Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa and Everton, sorry. And you need to get back on parity before the half-time whistle. Psychologically important, that. For Forest, they did have that both teams to score pattern under Nuno. So we will see. That's the best way to use these pre-game stats. So please make use of these. They are very well written pre-game facts. I don't know where they get them from, but some of them can be very profitable for you as well. I would also recommend the hot stats in the previews here. The hot stats can give you a nice quick angle in. They're right at the base of the previews. No side has conceded fewer first half Premier League goals at home than Villa's 5 this term. Conceded fewer. So that's inferring that Aston Villa are a tough nut to crack in the first half. So let's go back to the in-play stats. Keep an eye on them. See matches evolve. As you can tell, it's a little quiet today, isn't it? So hopefully we'll have some action, enough to get us some green screens. But some days you have to take or play the cards that you're dealt. And we've got more problems with the Guru today. I really hope he solves this. This is such a wonderful piece of kit. We had problems with this yesterday. I don't know what's going on with Mr. In-Play Guru. And that's Braga against Landskrona in the Superettan. It's not a high profile. It could be, because that signals there's an odds-on favourite goal. So I'm just waiting for this to populate, if it will populate. I hope it will. Oh, come on. Just a Welsh Premier League at the moment. So I've got it back up, but it's not as good as the In-Play Guru, alas. So I'm going to have to send him an email, I think. This is it's not proper, is it? It's not. You want to trade on a Sunday, you want to trade on a Saturday. You don't want to be paying your good money and have nothing to show for it. So I hope they solve this issue. There's a connection to the data feed issue. There we go. Talk about Mystic Meg. It's just turned up. So this is a real problem. There isn't really another feed which is as solid as this one. I do use soccerscanner.net. Soccer Scanner. This is £10 a month. It's got brilliant stats section, I must admit. So if you've not used it before, £10 a month just for the stats would be quite reasonable. And it can also allow automated betting now, I think, with one of the betting bots. I wouldn't like automated betting trading myself, but they probably do it based on accumulated shots on and off target, that kind of thing. But there's nothing like the human element. 2 shots on target for Forest, 2-1-4, 2 shots on 1 off 4 corners, and that's Sheffield Wednesday match again. Can we delete this? No, we can't. So it's just lacking some key features, this, it really is. I keep telling you, the leagues are in no particular order, which is doesn't make any sense at all. You're going to have to scroll through a whole heap of them just to get to the ones that you want, and they're not in alphabetical order. So if I wanted to look for Greece, I'd normally look for it after Germany, but no, it's then Andorra and the Austrian Frauenliga. So we'll just get rid of a few of these and hope that In-Play Guru behaves itself today. So Espanyol, we've still got this big gap. Andorra's shots off target, 5 of them, all coming first half. It's 6 minutes into the second half, 5 shots off 3 corners. Are you going to bite just yet? Right, he's got the Welsh Premier League. Why on earth are you interested in the Welsh Premier League? I don't understand. And there's the Espanyol equaliser. Ah, you just saw those 5 shots off 3 corners, and I was just about to head off and have a look at the market there. Lille have scored first against Strasbourg, so 3 out of 3 so far, but I haven't pulled the trigger, which is a pity. That Espanyol, it's a secondary pressure that would appeal. Really good ending to the first half, 2 shots off target. 4th against 22nd, well, it's 3rd in Play Guru, but it's by the by. Got the equaliser now. So if you did play that one, well done. Hopefully you'd have taken insurance out on Andorra, a side 22nd in the league. Logically, should be scoring that second goal, should they? Second consecutive goal. If we can avoid that second consecutive goal, then that's when insurance really comes into its own. But if we get that second consecutive goal, we do need then a 2-1 to get ourselves out with as low a profit as possible. So let me just sort these out. So I don't have to do this with the In-Play Guru, you see. I'm going to have to email him. It's been an awful run from them at the moment. Ignore these league positions. We're very, very early in the league. Looks like in the battle of the top sides in the Allsvenskan, Djurgården, who I think were excellent away from home, weren't they, last season? Or am I getting that mixed up with the home form? One of the home or away last season, they were absolutely emphatic. Now we've got another goal from Hartberg. So that could be a possible play. Now, remember, Las Glints were odds-on favourite. That's probably the goal there. There we go, Mystic Meg. Hartberg and Lashley, do check the goals out. If they're own goals, if they're penalties, you might be more confident in taking on Hartberg here. Nope, they look as old Heil. I'll change my name if that was me living in Austria. Well, can you imagine if his first name? Well, we won't go there. We'll get cancelled. So 0-2. Have a look at the in-play stats, which I would have liked to have done. This has worked for me last time. Leagues all, default filter, select all. So this is just changed to pick matches of selected league games only. So is this every single match? Yep. So maybe this will solve the problem. That's Stromgodset scoring against HamKam. Hartberg and Las Linz is one of interest, certainly. So I'll be looking on that one, and we'll see whether this. See, this just something wrong here. There's no contact us form anywhere either. See, this is just a mess. Having to try to find where the Austrian league is, because it's not in alphabetical order. It's just ridiculous. They could use just be intuitive. Now that, I think, might offer us a potential play. 6 shots off 5 corners. You just saw that with that 1-1 equaliser for Espanyol, regardless of no shots on target. 32 dangerous attacks to 11. Let's have a break and have a look at this one. Can we get a low odds entry point? That's what we're looking for. Okay, so let's see if we can get to Lask Linz. $1.28 and 15. I think that's reasonable. It's not even half time yet. Hertha Berlin have a goal back. Can they stage a late recovery to make it 3-3? It's 3-2 to Karlsruhe at the moment. Hertha Berlin desperate need for points. This looks quite good. Good entry point. I like the secondary stats for Lask Linz. They are odds on. They are at home. As ever, I try to keep this under a tenner. Try to get 100+ quid on Lask Linz as well, because that just gives you something to work with. I'll untick the profit box there. You've got a 12-second gap here, so just be wary of that. There we go. So see if I can get this just breaking 100 for Lask Linz. Hopefully Lask Linz will score the next goal. And indeed, if they can score the next goal before half time, that would be even better. So we look forward to that. So hopefully, it's very early in the match. We've got a good opportunity, I think. So I might pass this on to Telegrammers, I think. It's a reasonable set of stats. I'm just going to get the Telegram up. Good afternoon, live stream at the moment. First possible play in the Austrian Bundesliga, Lask Linz. So if you're using the search facility on Betfair, L-A-S-K, Lask Linz. They're 0-2 down against Hartberg. Hartberg are away from home. Lask Linz, odds on favourites at home. I think the entry point is reasonable. Laying Hartberg at 1.28, backing Lask Linz at 14.5 or higher. Hopefully Lask Linz can score the next goal to enable us to get a possible trading opportunity here. Low liability, good possible returns. Okay. So let's just get Football 24 back up. And excuse me for a second while I do some important work. Check my fridge. It'll be a couple of seconds. No fridge solutions for me yet. AIK have scored first against Djurgården, who, based on the in-play stats, looked as if they would be the first team to score. But this is what you get in these derby-style matches. It could be anything, couldn't it? That's why I keep talking about derby style matches. I like that. Look, 7 shots off, 6 corners, 37 dangerous attacks. It is half time. This is, for those of you who read the manual, this is an underdog leading 0-2 away from home on or around half time. We normally look to target these. Logically, home support, manager reminding them at half time they're at home. You've got 15 minutes to sort your tactics out. Hopefully come out of it with a little bit more. 20-minute rule possibly for Slavia Prague. I'm sure Paul was just about to tell me that. Oh, we're back. How long are we going to be back? Fingers crossed. So let's go and check the checks out. So this is what I'm talking about. Put this in alphabetical order. Where are you going to go now to look for Greece? You're going to go all the way down to G, or you're going to go change this to A to Z, and you're going to go here to the Czech Republic. This is what I'm talking about. 1.13 favourite. 20-minute rule possibly. Up to you if you wanted to play. I'll show you how it's done. So we head off to Slavia Prague. Now 1.13 is quite emphatic, isn't it? Telling us there should be an absolute shed load of goals. So you go Slavia Prague, Sigma Olomouc. Have a look at the half-time markets. We've got 1, 2, 3, 5 half-time markets we can possibly work with. You'll use these first half goals markets if the half-time score market is a liquid, which it normally tends to be, particularly in the Czech Republic. But looking okay at the moment. This is normally 3s, but at 2.84. So what you would do, you'd make an assumption here, a 1.13 favourite. It should win, should score the first goal before half-time, should score at least 3 and not concede more than 1. Big assumptions, of course, because could get red carded. The opponents could get a penalty, but this is how I would exploit it. Use variable profit Dutching. So you'd be looking, it is a liquid though, so I don't like that because you're working with some backers, some layers odds, which are going to be far shorter than expectation. Only 13s for any unquoted is a bit poor. Compare that to first half goals. Any unquoted is 3 goals or more. You compare that with this, well, it's about similar, so fair enough. I'd be happier to go this route. Laying under 2.5 goals, it's the same as backing over 2.5 goals. I just tend to do the laying under. It doesn't really matter. So you can really fill your boots here. This is if they really come alive, as 1.13 shots should, and start scoring 3+ goals. This is when it starts getting exciting. So this is instead of any unquoted in the half-time score market. You could do first half goals 1.5, which is the same as 2-0. So have a look. Are you getting better odds for the 2-0? You're getting 6.6. Well, it's a liquid. So I don't think we have an argument, really. There's no market forces. 6 and 8.4, 340 match. No market forces at all. So we have to really default here. I would be looking at laying under 1.5 goals. Again, let's keep my liability low, but still get a slightly less profit, maybe 22 quid, something like that. Well, that's okay. 22, 23, 24. 8 quid at risk for 1.32. This is called neutral play. This has worked well with Cardiff Southampton, didn't it, yesterday? We expect Southampton to win. Lay the late draw. Who wins? Cardiff. And it's neutral because you've got both teams playing for you. So the absolute ideal here, Sigma Olomouc score the first goal. And first half goal, 0.5. This is going to be the shortest odds for the biggest liability if you're backing, of course. Laying under 0.5 goals, 2.58. It's going to cost us a bit. What I tend to do here, £7.75 plus 3, that's 10. That's about 12 quid. Try to look to win that here. Change that to 12. Just effectively break even if they get a goal. So in this case, backing over 0.5 goals. It's the same as laying under 0.5 goals. You could do that to win 12 quid as well. This is the priciest part. You could actually ignore this if you wanted to keep your liability low. If you're happy to take a £10 hit, looks like I've pulled the trigger. As you can see, it's quite a high liability, which I don't like. So normally, when you're variable profit Dutching, you could leave an effective break even on that. So let's see if we can get a goal from Slavia Prague. That would be excellent. Montpellier scored first against Reims in French League 1. I don't tend to research French League 1. It's like the English Championship. It's a very tough old league to get out of. So really tough. So I better drink my beer before it gets too hot in the damn fridge. Right, let's get back to football 24. So you're making assumptions. You could, of course, just wait and see that is a good idea. That's good. Attacking pressure index is good. So St. Pauli scoring their usual 2 goals, so I can get rid of that one. Antwerp and Cercle Brugge, well, that's coming to an end. Espanyol have got the equaliser already, which is a pity. If you did play, well done. It's tricky, isn't it? Because 3rd against 22nd, it's not a gimme at this stage of the season. We've seen it in the Championship, in League 1, in League 2. We keep getting these 22nds beating 3rds. And it can be quite costly. Remember, Mansfield went 1-4 down. Peterborough, 1.25 favourites, lost. I could go on and on and on. Barnsley, losing to Cambridge. It just carries on. Getafe Sociedad, well, in-play stats for me. So don't have a strong opinion with this one. Hovedova and Vejle, I would have been looking for a possible Vejle goal here. And Slavia Prague, we're looking for at least a goal before half-time. But I'm not happy with that £17 liability on a 0.5. It's way out of kilter for that type of market. But we will see. You can always have another go second half in laying the draw if the draw's short enough. Or, remembering it's 1.14, back 3-0, 3-1, any other home score if it's 0-0 at half-time. Just make sure everything's okay at YouTube. Looks like it's ticking along nicely. Yeah, Stephen, you can save all the leagues you want in Soccer Scanner. Thanks, Stephen. Forest nearly scored, so that could have been the goal before half-time. Thanks, Gordon. No problems in Blighty. So, yeah, I'll have to work more with Soccer Scanner. It's just not as intuitive as In-Play Guru, is it? I know we can save our leagues. I need to really work on it. And there's the automated betting feature, and these stats are brilliant. I don't normally work with pre-match stats like this. I don't do 2.5 goal both teams to score trading unless it's hedging. I haven't really sussed it out over 2.5 goals. You do need at least a goal before half time, don't you, to get the trading working? I'm sure we'll have one season, I think, where we try to attack the 2.5 goal market. We could have one season as well where we try the old lay the draw, the old standards, standard trades, 2.5 goals and lay the draw. Used to be favourites of traders. So let's go back and have a look at the Guru. 68th minute, Espanyol Andorra, arguably laying the late draw. Points precious for both sides. Let's have a look at some of the outside matches. Las Linz, I like that. 6 shots off, 6 corners, 37 dangerous attacks. It's got a good feel to it, hasn't it? It's got a good look. The entry points are low. When you're backing, the entry points is nice and big. 6 shots off 6 corners. Good defensive display from Hartberg at the moment, but that must be wrong. The shots on target must be wrong because they've scored 2 goals and they're not both penalties. Right, let's clean up some of this. Belgian First Division, Amateur Division, Cercle Brugge and Antwerp. 4 shots on 12 off and 6 corners, coming to an end there. Good display from Cercle Brugge, but just couldn't cross the line, it seems. HNL1, no, that's the second tier. Pardubice, Mlada Boleslav, don't have a strong opinion there. Slovan Liberec, odds-on favourites today. Danish First Division, Kolding, a goal up against AAB, who's second in the league, so that might be of interest. Top 5 clash, second in the league. Viborg, second in the league again, are playing Lyngby, so we'll keep an eye on that one as well. Blackburn against Sheffield Wednesday, great result for Sheffield Wednesday, that. I've not quite got a handle on ladies football yet. It's very, very hard to trust, very hard to read as well. But it could be an excellent league for goals, couldn't it, the ladies' game? The keepers are famously a bit dodgy. And that's the second time I've got cancelled now. Ethiopian Coffee, full of energy. Going to go for the full 90 minutes. They're a goal down to Mekalakea. Don't think we'll be playing that one today. French League 1. So let's have a quick look. 2.15, the favourite Montpellier, 9th in the league. They'll have an eye on the promotion playoff places. No, they won't. They don't get promotion playoff places. It'll be Champions League, Europa League, etc. Le Havre at home. It's got a touch of a relegation 6-pointer about that. We can do a little bit of research for French Ligue 1 while it's a little quiet. Lille, 4th in the league against Strasbourg, keen for a Champions League place themselves. Bundesliga 1, Werder Bremen against Stuttgart, 1.73 for Stuttgart. Pretty decent season they're having, aren't they? Again, we're missing the league positions here, which is a pity. Don't forget they've got no title to aim for. You've got to watch out for Dortmund and Leverkusen later on. That's a dead rubber, isn't it? For Leverkusen, at least. You might start seeing Leverkusen lose matches now. Tends to happen when Bayern Munich win the league early, and they suddenly switch off. I don't know if Xavi Alonso will allow that, or whether he's keen to get an unbeaten sequence continuing. PAS Giannina putting in a good shift. They've got double the dangerous attacks. Probably not the favourite. No, they're not. That could be one to take on Panathinaikos a bit later on. So let's get rid of these. Iranian Pro League. Serie A, Torino Frosinone. Would you be favouring Torino on their defensive stoutness? And Frosinone's really poor away form. But you know as well as I do, 18th in the league cannot be dismissed at this stage of the season. So be very wary of that. Serie D. Lots of Italian footy today. Blimey. I thought they were all meant to be zooming around on their Vespers, drinking espresso. Not everyone playing football. Division 2, Group 1, I don't think we'll be playing that one. There's the Elite Serie, 4 o'clock for all the other matches. Again, it's got to be pre-match or in-play stats really at this stage of the season. Lech Poznan, 4th against 17th, another possible over-performance from Lotz, who desperately need points. We will see. Academico Viseu, 2.15 the favourite. We'll keep an eye on that one. Cluj, 2nd against 4th, 2.8 the favourite. Maybe not. South Africa. And there's a Djurgården who started off brighter, didn't they? But this is a tough match to unpick because they're both pretty decent sides. And Gaius and Mjällby, do you take 0-0s on at this stage of the season? Probably not, because we don't have a record of how these sides take on 0-0s second half. Tunisia Cup, Turkish One League. Give that a miss today. And give Uganda a miss, I think, as well. And Uruguay and the Welsh. So I'll fire off a couple of emails next week to these the owners of these in-play stats fees just to see. And it's Chicken in FC, see whether they can keep it more consistent and whether the soccer scanner can include a filter to put the leagues into alphabetical order. That would be excellent. So let's keep monitoring our in-play stats and what is a quieter Sunday than Saturday. So we've got a lot of the ones at the top are all on the watch list. Something has caught the eye. So we go from the top. We've got to keep going through these constantly because you'll start seeing the matches evolve stats-wise. Saw with Gothenburg yesterday. Took my eye off that for 5 minutes. And in that time, they'd lit up the shots on and off target and got an equaliser. So in-play stats can play a vital role and they can make you money on their own. So Espanyol and Andorra. Well, 73rd minute, I'd be keen enough to take on any draw late on. Motivation quite clear for both of these two sides as well. So I'll be quite happy with that. Sociedad and Getafe not as strong an argument as Espanyol and Andorra, that's for sure. AIK and Djurgården, it's got a bit of the derby element to it. Derby style match, I call them. And they tend to be a little tricky to unpack. Vejle, possibility of a second half goal from them. We will see. 1-1 last head-to-head. Both teams have scored in the last two. Not in the best of form, though, Vejle of late. 1-2 against Randers, 1-1 against Viborg, and a 0-1 against Odense. So they are scoring and conceding. They are scoring. Scored in the last three. Pre-match favouritism, 2.2, but they haven't really lit up the stats yet. 2 shots on 8 off and 2 corners. Panathinaikos and Giannina. Well, it's gone the way of Panathinaikos at the moment. But if we did look at Giannina, started to light up the expected goals, didn't they? And the attacking pressure. So that might be one. Just a speculative late lay. Panathinaikos at very, very short odds. Might yield something. And we know Las Glints, we're just waiting for the second half to begin. But that's a really good configuration there, isn't it? 6 shots off, 6 corners, 37 dangerous attacks. Odds on favourite at home. Like it. I just hope that they score the next goal, Las Linz, and they score it before the hour mark. If they do, you're going to start seeing some odds moving there. Looks like Reims are well up for it against Montpellier, and as I suggested, let's have a quick look at French League research. Soccer stats. So French League see if we can find any patterns. Le Havre and Metz. This should be a relegation 6-pointer. Newly promoted Le Havre. If the match ends in a draw, Le Havre would remain 2 points ahead of Metz in the league table. Okay, so that's a new innovation there from Soccer Stats. And if you want to avoid these adverts, use Microsoft Edge. And I think it's got an ad blocker here somewhere. As you can see, it's got rid of all the ads. There's normally they put a big banner halfway up the page as well. So this tends to work well. Recent form, well, these two don't look too hot, do they? Le Havre especially, starting to show this was not the form of a newly promoted side. This is only 3 wins since the 3rd of December. All coming at home, though. So that's a positive. They failed to score in the last 2 at home. Both teams have scored in the last 4 for Metz, winning only 1. No draw in 8 at home. So we'll have a quick look. And this will just get you used to researching on soccer stats as well and see how quickly you can do it. Challenge table probably tells a better story. 15th against 16th. A couple of wins for Le Havre against 17th and 18th is important. 0-0 last head-to-head. Failed to score against 14th, but only lost 0-1. But similarly, Metz come alive against the bottom 5. 3 out of 3 wins. Vitally important, that. So it does suggest that Metz are very difficult to take on if they lead. But then also Le Havre, very difficult to take on if they lead. But both teams are scoring 2+ goals. That could see any draw end there. So what's it looking like at the moment for Le Havre? It's 0-0 at the moment. So possibilities here. Both sides will fancy it with their winning form against fellow strugglers. So it's a tough old match to pick a weak spot for both of these two teams. So that would be what I'd take out of that match. That's how quickly you can get the research done. So get yourself some key angles in. Lille against Strasbourg. Well, the best thing to do really is look at the league position to start with. So Lille against Strasbourg, 4th in the league. This is outside the Champions League places, but a win today take them to 52, and they'll be in the Champions League places. Who are they playing? Strasbourg. 26 to 36, 10-point gap to the bottom 3 is enough to start being a little complacent. 3 wins and a draw. So still needs must for Strasbourg. Lille with a win, huge motivation to go into the Champions League places for them. So we've already got an angle in with Lille. They're the most motivated of the two, I would suggest. And they rarely lose, as you can see there. So we're ready. Just this quick research. It doesn't have to be in depth. So only 5 losses all season, 4 of them coming away. That suggests that they are extremely solid at home. Both teams have scored in the last 4 without them losing. 2 consecutive home wins. Strasbourg, though, this is why they are where they are with that 11-point gap. 3, 6, 9, 10. 10 of those 11 points come in the last 4 matches. So suddenly coming alive. Only losing 0-1 to Monaco. That's not anything to be disgraced about. 72nd minute goal. Starting from the 3rd of March. This is the kind of form that looks like they've had a new manager, isn't it? So you can't discount Strasbourg. Suddenly coming alive. But Lille unbeaten in 11. 2+ goals scored in the last 6 at home. Tough nut to crack at home. Challenge table, 4th against 12th. And again, this might tell you the story of the struggles that Strasbourg might have. Failed to beat any top 13 side away from home. So that recent run needs that context, doesn't it? Did beat Lille last head-to-head, as you can see there, 2-1. So they're not going to fear anything. But Lille start winning and winning well against 13th and lower, playing 12th today. Tend to keep clean sheets. So that's a tough match to take Lille on, despite Strasbourg's recent solid run. We don't think we've got any goals coming in unless Football 24 has cocked it up. Let me just check. I'll get rid of a couple of these. It's very quiet unless there's something wrong with these scores feeds. But no, look, there's a whole raft of 0-0s. So we don't have the goals yet. So that's okay. So let's continue with French Ligue 1 while it's a little quiet. move to the next match. Reims and Montpellier. I think we've already looked at that, haven't we? But Reims and Montpellier, where are they in the league? 9th, playing 13th. 9th, 40 to 47.
This market has been suspended.
You've got a two game difference to 6th. It can still reach top 6 spot. Montpellier, too near to the relegation playoff places. Relegation zone. 26 to 33. 7-point gap. They can be caught. So the onus is on both of these two teams to do something today. Again, a quick look at the challenge table. So you've got 5 matches remaining. So we've got to do our maths at this stage of the season because there are going to be some dead rubbers. So let's have a look. This is a quick way. You should get all your information. Current streaks and sequences. No defeat and 2 at home. Scored in the last 10, Montpellier. And the last 5 away. No defeat and 3 away. And quick look at these. And then move down. 9th against 13th. Only 1 defeat for Reims against 5th and lower suggests they tend to do their losing at home against the top 4, as you can see there. So this is going to be interesting if we look at the scoreline. Reims, 2 wins amongst 2, 4, 6 defeats against the top 10 away from home. It's poor stuff. Lost 1-3 to Reims last time these two met as well. So that's really the basic quick look. And we've got a goal back. Good stuff from Lask Linz coming before the hour mark. That's going to start things working nicely. Okay, let's break off and check our positions. Lask Linz. So that's good. This is your opening cash out. If you like what you see, you've got a number of options to cash out here. It's I wouldn't dismiss the green. You saw it with Hoffenheim yesterday at half time. That was 14 quid. It soon adds up. So even if it's just 8 quid, it's all relative to the amount risked. So it's about just under an evens return risk reward. Now, if you look for a second goal, you've got that tenner waiting. If you want to get rid of that 12, it's still going to cost you a little bit. So this is what I keep calling options at exit. Are you happy to take a £12 loss? Check the amount of time left in the match. Don't say this is cocked up again. Yeah, there we go, look. It's becoming very unreliable. And I've just got rid of the soccer scanner as well. Oh, I'll have to send him an email because it's just not good enough, is it? This is becoming a regular occurrence. To check the amount of time left for Lask Linz, this is the only quick way I can get to it. 1 shot on 9 off 7 corners, 60th minute. You've got half an hour to go for them to score 1 more goal. That will guarantee you that draw profit. And it will also open the door up to that 100 plus profit on Lask Linz. So that's your first thing to think about. 1, do I take the green screen? Because I want to get that 12 quid back in my betting bank. 2, do I hold out and look for a potential second goal? Why? As I just said, half an hour left. Lighting up the attacking pressure index, lighting up the in-play stats. 1 shot on 9 off 7 corners, 44 dangerous attacks to 15. This is one of your ideal 0-2s, isn't it? It's just got a nice look about it. So these are options at exit. You can't really negate that 12 quid. It's going to cost you far too much. So that £10, you could take that. I wouldn't argue against taking that. But if you want to get rid of this 12, it's going to cost you more than 12. As you can see there. Now you could cover the draw. You could keep the profit on the draw, and then you reduced the last glints to £20.65. It's not worth it, is it? Ridiculous. Unless you want to reduce the liability by a half, perhaps, instead of 12. You've always got these options with once you get a goal. It's what I call options at exit. This is nothing I can help you with, I'm afraid. You're going to have to make your own just choices. It's not worth it for me. The odds haven't risen significantly enough to make it worth negating that £12. Certainly, if it's 2-2, Hartberg's odds are going to mirror the draws. They're going to be about like that. Les Lynch's odds will drop markedly. You've got another option. You can lay over 3.5 goals. I think 2.5 goals is done. And again, to cover 12 quid, that should cost you about 6 or 7 quid. So if you're happy with that, so rather than taking a £12 loss, if it ends 1-2, you've got that covered. You've got to break even. But if it gets to 2-2, you'll lose your £6.76 here. But you'll gain your £10 on the draw. More importantly, you've got that £100 waiting in the wings. So it's up to you. There are multiple ways to attack this second half. So we've got our first goal. Good in-play stats for Las Linz, I think. So I'm hopeful that we'll start seeing that second goal at some point. But do check your positions. 61st minute, Everton, Nottingham Forest. Dare we take on Everton? Has this shifted momentum? Well, there's no second half shots yet. 1 second half shot off target each. And 1 shot on target for the home side, Everton. Difficult. We don't have to play, don't forget. You don't have to play. Mrs. Doyle is going to be absolutely delighted. Beijing grandfather, have a cup of tea. 3-1 up against Qingdao Youth Island. Well done, Mrs. Doyle. Fantastic stuff. Go on, father. Espanyol Andorra coming to the end of the match. Let's just break off and have a look. See if we can lay that late draw. Espanyol Andorra. Well, it's getting to the point where we can lay that late draw. Motivation for both sides, I would argue. I like to drip lay, but you saw yesterday we got a nice profit on the Cardiff. But we didn't. We've only got a 7 quid profit on the Cardiff. You could load up with your full liability now, or you could drip lay. If you drip lay and you get it right early, you're only going to make a couple of pounds. So have a think. So 1.19 is gone. So 1.14 is next to win £5. 1.09 to win £11. And 1.06 because it is a must win. Ideally, they'll be going to the death here, trying to nick that winner. Oh, my 6 isn't working on the side. There we go. 1.06. £16 here. Because that's under a quid liability. Or you could lump on at 1.15 with a predetermined amount you're looking to win. That way you won't be caught out if they get a quick goal and you'll only make £9.80, for example. But the risk reward here, as you can see, is pretty decent. So I'm doing that. Lay the late draw, Espanyol. It's not that compelling in-play stats, but a good story for both teams. Espanyol keen on automatic promotion. Andorra just keen on survival, basically. I'm still keeping an eye on Nottingham Forest. I've just got that inkling that dare we take on that Everton lead with insurance. It's a tricky one. Because Everton have been scoring 2 goals as well. Some of their wins unexpectedly. But they have a very poor goals ratio, don't they? So let's have a look. Everton at 1 point. Well, you could even just lay them now in the match odds. At these odds. Again, it's going to be low liability, isn't it? Rather than risk my 40 quid on the +1, you could just risk a tenner here. 19s as well. 18.5, 19. No, I don't want the profit box on, sorry. This is just based on needs must, really. So try to get over that 100 quid, get it up and running. That's what I'm trying to work with. The inference being, if they get an equaliser, those odds of 18.5 are going to drop hugely, aren't they? And the in-play stats for Forest are okay. So I'm not looking at necessarily at the draw, I'm looking at the green up amount. We haven't got that matched yet. So I'll try that again. And again, you can, if you wanted to, you could keep the draw at 12 quid by using variable profit Dutching. So if we get a Forest goal soon, those odds of 19 are going to drop like a stone. So hopefully Forest will remember the urgency of the match and try to get themselves something out of this. Four dangerous attacks, 7 dangerous attacks last 10 minutes. They're starting to warm up, but it's pretty poor stuff second half. No shots on target yet. So you could delay, couldn't you? Getafe and Sociedad coming to the end of that match. Got a goal in an odds-on favourite match. That's Werder Bremen opening up against Stuttgart. That is a possible play. You can see for yourself 1.73 favourites Stuttgart here. Just check the research for this particular match. So let's just check. So we're going to go to Stuttgart here. This is how I'd like you to use the research. If you've got an underdog scoring first, check it out. Have they been going through a recent unexpected run of good results? Werder, only 4 points above relegation zone. Stuttgart, 7 points above 5th place, keen to keep the Champions League. So again, we've got a motivated factor for both teams. 5 losses and 2 draws for Werder recently. Werder conceded in the last 7 and the last 6 at home. So that's a positive. 9 wins and 2 draws in the last 11. 5 consecutive away wins. That's for Stuttgart. 4 clean sheets in 5 matches. No draw in 14 away for Stuttgart. 15 out of 20 goals conceded away come second half. As I say, Stuttgart, 9 wins and 2 draws in 11 matches. And a bloody connection error again. Hope he solves this, because as you can see, we can really work when this works. It's obviously a third-party data issue. But now I have to use this. Werder Bremen Stuttgart, so it's one of the top ones. 2 shots on, 2 corners for Stuttgart. I think I might just risk this one. Yeah. The form they're in is exemplary, isn't it? So let's have a look at the market there. Make sure this one's okay. No. So Espanyol Andorra ends 1-1, so I've probably lost about 2 or 3 quid there in liability. But it would have been a good result for the equaliser, wouldn't it? That's all you're after. Get that equaliser. Werder Bremen goal. Let's have a quick look at that goal. And again, we're in a bit of bother. It's a penalty, so I bet you Stephen Francis has told us about that one. Let's see. Werder Bremen goal of penalty, so should instill a bit more confidence in you in taking on. Greened out for a profit on Lask Links. Well done, Robert. Go for Lask. So let's check out, given the fact that Werder goal was a penalty. That should make you a bit more confident in Stuttgart delivering today. So I think that liability is a bit too high there, but could have just backed Forest, couldn't you? So always look at ways for you to reduce your liability. The best way to reduce liability is to simply delay. Wait. So let's have a look. Where are we headed? Werder Bremen, Stuttgart. So let's have a look. Werder Bremen and Stuttgart. As ever, I do my insurance. I think you've seen ample examples of it paying off as far as breaking even instead of losing 40 quid. So just for the sake of what would be about £3.50 here, it's well worth doing. £4.40, there we go. So I've laid over 1.5 goals to win the amount I want to work with, which is £40 minus commission. Now you've got two options, Stuttgart +1. If it's reasonably higher than this, I would stay there because it covers the draw. I like that. I do like that. So I'll show you both examples anyway, because Stuttgart have been such good winning form of late. So you use your stake that you've got insured, £39.20, to back Stuttgart +1. This covers the draw, and 1.8 is quite good relative to their winning sequence of late. So there we go. So best case scenario, you lose £4.40 here. You'll win 30 quid here. And you're already in a green screen profit, as you can see. Amazing scenes. Don't spend that at once. Okay, that £1.32. Do consult a financial advisor. Okay. It is quite a sum for you to try and work with. Secondary option. These are options, okay? It's either +1 or match odds. Either or. If you're doing match odds, I would recommend splitting your stakes, but you might want to just load your whole stake on Stuttgart. It's up to you. But then you've got a big loss on the draw. I like to do it this way, and you'll get a better return than the +1 because you're taking a bigger risk.
This market has been suspended.
You're looking for Stuttgart to win rather than draw. So you can back Stuttgart at 3.35, which is much bigger odds than you'd have got pre-match with only half an hour gone. And you can lay Werder Bremen half stake as liability. Don't forget, because you want a £40 loss on Werder Bremen. Hopefully. There we go. £40 loss on Werder Bremen is currently covered by that because this is a winning play. It's 0-1. It's 1-0. It's under 1.5 goals. So this is currently winning. If, as we expect, Stuttgart scores the next goal, you'll lose your £4.40 here. But then this will start motoring. So this is either or, as you can see, £64 possible profit if Stuttgart could pull off the win. Worst case scenario, if it ends in a draw, you're going to lose 8 quid. You're going to lose your insurance and that 4 quid there. So that's not too shabby for the chance of winning 64 quid. Okay. Other option, 10 minutes to go. You could always check the half-time markets, couldn't you? To really reduce your liability. And if you captured a goal before half-time, you'll have made the profit. But if you haven't, you'll have kept your liability far lower. 1.3, as you can see there, 28 there in the half-time market. Half-time score, back 1-1 at 10s. Sorry, 1-1 at 4.8, pretty good. 1-2 at 29s, that's not too bad. And that's probably where I would stop. 1-1 and 1-2 to Stuttgart. The fact that the Werder Bremen goal was a penalty has me a little more confident. Oh no! This is another good example to you of taking the green, isn't it? You'd have taken that 14 quid with Hoff yesterday. Add it to that 11 quid there for Lask. That's 25 quid. Because once you've taken a green screen, Hartberg can score that third goal. And it won't affect it. So that's a pity. It was a well-configured match, wasn't it? And we got that important goal. Is this old Heil again, is it? No, it's Prokop. Prokop really propped up our trade there. The bar steward. So let's have a look at our... Well, we can't really, can we? Unless they're back up and running again. So this is I'll write to them afterwards, I think. Molenbeek, newly promoted, I believe, in Belgium. So get rid of all of this. Scottish FA Cup just beginning. Rangers obvious favourites, but Hearts are going to give them a game. Third best side in the SPL. This hasn't got enough leagues, has it? Ridiculous. Everton and Forest. It's just like, there we go. That's game over. 2-0 to Everton. That was a concern. That's why you keep your liability as low as possible. It's what I call a derby-style match. Relegation 6-pointer. So that's a pity. But this is what happens when you're at this stage of the season. Keep your liability as low as possible. Everton reverting back to when they first dropped 10 points. This was a kind of Sean Dyche playbook. Try to get an early lead and then nick a second goal. So now that's liability's gone. Should have been a lot lower. Aston Villa kicking off against Bournemouth. Having an excellent week, Aston Villa, in Europe as well. And as well as ensuring Arsenal don't win the title. So with a double over them this season. Giant slayers indeed. Quite an amazing stuff under Unai Emery, old Dick. Fantastic stuff. Crystal Palace and West Ham is a London derby, and it's a tricky one. We've got a new manager for Crystal Palace. That's going to make life a little trickier for them today. For West Ham, that is. And indeed for us, trying to unpack this Crystal Palace side. We don't know if the new manager can continue his excellent work in beating Liverpool. 1-0. You just don't know, do you? The impact a new manager will have. When Roy first came to Palace, they went on a really good run, didn't they? Torino and Frosinone remains 0-0. This is no surprise. I think there's a strong under 2.5 goal pattern for Torino, and it was a 0-0 last head-to-head. And let's have a look. Only 4 defeats for Torino since 4th of December. 3 consecutive home clean sheets. 6 consecutive under 2.5 goal matches at home. Normally when you see that kind of a thing, you might want to back 0-0 pre-match. At its highest ever point. It's always going to be at highest point pre-match. And if you can get to half-time at 0-0, that's when you can be up and running. And indeed, that's the case here. 48th minute. It's very difficult to lay the draw here, isn't it? Because of that very strong under 2.5 goal pattern, and indeed the clean sheet pattern for Torino. Frosinone will be looking to sharpen up defensively because they are 18th and they need points. Stuttgart, 2 shots on, 1 off and 3 corners in response to going a goal down via that Werder Bremen penalty. So Stuttgart will not be panicking just yet, Mr. Mannering. And looks like Football 24 is not working because it hasn't alerted me to that Rangers goal. So my apologies there. I don't know what's going on with Football 24 today. All of these data apps just not working. consistently enough. Right, hopefully I can start getting the scores back again. So Rangers 1-0 up, that's no surprise, but if it's 1-0 70th minute, or if there's only a goal in it 70th minute, well, we've got a Crystal Palace goal as well, so these aren't coming in. There's a Rangers goal. I hope you can still hear me okay, because this has suddenly stopped providing me with auditory alerts. So Rangers against Hearts, if this is 1-0 late on, we might have a chance. Let's go through some of the other matches. And we've got an opening goal for Crystal Palace against West Ham. Difficult to unpack that one. As I've just alluded to, they're coming off the back of a 1-0 win against Liverpool. If you can keep Liverpool out, away from home, I think it was, you can keep West Ham out. So fascinating London derby, but not necessarily a tradable match. Let's just get rid of a few of these. Copenhagen just kicking off as well. And if everything was working, we'd be okay. But Football 24 is not providing me goals. This isn't providing me with auditory alerts, as it normally should do. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on it. There we go. We've got that coming in now. That was a Braga goal against Landskrona. We've got 14 shots off target for HamKam. That's quite something. But the last shot off target was 65th minute, so nearly 20 minutes away. Now we've got the goals coming in. Good stuff. What a pity with Las Linz. It all looked very good, didn't it? But it's a good example to you of once you've greened up, the profit is banked. And anything that happens afterwards is irrelevant. I think that's the beauty of trading. You're not after the final score. You're after the potential odds movement in play. That's the essence of trading. But sometimes options at exit, you weigh up the amount of time left and make a decision. What a pity for Slavia Prague. They didn't break through before half-time. 1.13 shots. I don't know whether we're going to be labouring the Czech Republic too much, but this is what I would normally do. Slavia Prague. So you see the importance of taking just that tenner out earlier on. That covers a future play. And as I always say, it's 10% of 100 quid. If you can make 100 quid your target. And that's a Sigma Olomouc goal against Slavia Prague. Thank you very much, Slavia Prague. Now, if I'd have gone into the correct score market at half-time, I would have gone 3-0, 3-1, any other home score. But look at this, woeful. Got to wait for this to unpack. This is a good example of a very, very illiquid market, isn't it? Awful, awful stuff. Obviously, no interest in the Czech Republic today. Match odds for Slavia, but they're still not even breaking evens. That tells you 1.13 shots at evens is pretty decent if they can get back into this. And we did expect them to score before half-time, so potential here. Laying over 1.5 goals is going to be very cheap indeed. Well, yes, it is relative to a second half. It is fairly cheap. I might have a go at this, but it's not going to be a huge return. So again, the stake I want to use is £40. I'll be laying over 1.5 goals. Now that 16 is gone now. There we go. So that's cost £6.80. Slavia Prague +1 is going to be ridiculously short, 1.3, something like that. I would suspect. Yeah, 1.28, bang on the button. So we go match odds, where we can at least eke out evens or thereabouts. So you could back Slavia Prague over evens, lay Sigma Olomouc, and hope that Slavia Prague score the next goal. Have a look in the correct score market as well, or if or sorry, either or. And again, this is just not forming, is it? So you'll have to give, oh, it's coming, looking a bit more alive. So if you're looking at a 1.13 shot, you're looking at 3-1. Any other home win? That's currently at 3-1 is at 7.4. Any other home win is at 7.4. And when you see similar odds, it's a lack of market forces. This is one bloke putting up a whole host of the same odds, as you can see there. So we're battling against an illiquid market, but I'll just show you the kind of thing I would look at if we trust the pre-match odds. That is 3-1, any other home score. But you've got to weigh in the fact that they didn't do it in the first half, did they? So that might not be totally accurate. So we can go up like this. As long as you've got a low liability, you can give this one a go. 8s and 7.8. So this is what I would normally do with a 1.13 shot. It's normally what I would expect of a 1.13 shot, but they look to be under par today, Slavia Prague. I don't know if they were involved in Europe or anything. You can use required profit as well if you want. 2-0 to Crystal Palace. They are really turning it on after that Liverpool win under new management. So it's very, very difficult. This looks to be about
This market has been suspended.
2.5 to 1. So you're not getting much out of this. So if that appeals, a tenner into 30 quid. So that's about 3 to 1. Press the button and hope that the 1.13 shots perform as 1.13 shots. Got a goal in an odds-on favourite match. Let's have a look. That's Lech Poznan 0-2 lead. I think they are the favourites. So I don't think there's going to be an issue here. As far as the trading angle, indeed, 1.73 pre-match. So this is going the way of expectation. Coventry Man United kicking off soon. Another derby-style match, that one,
This market
isn't it?
has been suspended.
Suspended market. Is that a Slavia Prague goal? We will soon see. This is not all of the matches. So I'm going to have a word with him. Because this is awful. That's Werder Bremen Stuttgart half-time. 1-0 at half-time. Don't think we've got anything much to panic about. 2 shots on, 2 shots off, 3 corners for Stuttgart. Don't forget they're on a run of, 9 wins and 2 draws in the last 11 matches. 7 dangerous attacks in the last 5 minutes. I'm hopeful second half that we can get some action from them. Really good stuff under the new manager for Crystal Palace. These are the kind of surprises you will get. Villarreal just kicking off against Almeria with just a single win all season, Almeria. The onus is on the Yellow Submarine to get a result today. 10th place. Is it near enough to the promotion spots? You'll see that the research has changed a little. I've done the league positions at the start. So you immediately know they are relegated. 14 points from safety. Villarreal are on 11 points away from a top 6 berth. So just weigh up that. So that will give you an idea of whether they are still mathematically motivated to get that top 6 place. No home win for Almeria. Only 1 loss in 11 for Villarreal, came against Atletico Madrid. Yellow Submarine gone really under the radar, haven't they? 3 wins and 2 draws recently. Both teams have scored in the last 5 away. So get your prayer mat out. We've got to hope for Almeria to score first here. That would be a really good angle in. So let's go through the scanner again. 2-0 to Everton. Well, this could have gone either way, couldn't it? 2-0, 1-1. It's one of those relegation 6-pointers, and Everton, a vital win for the Toffees. Both sides will feel a bit disconsolate with the points deductions. Aston Villa and Bournemouth, Not much in the early knockings. Certainly not as emphatic as Crystal Palace. Torino and Frosinone coming to the hour mark at 0-0. As I just told you, a very, very strong under 2.5 goal pattern for Torino. Clean sheets as well for Torino. No wonder this is 0-0. It's a bit of a snooze fest if you're expecting goals. Stuttgart should get back on board if the form lines are accurate this season. 9 wins and 2 draws in the last 11. Should be a strong argument for them in the second half. Similar strong argument for Villarreal here today against Almeria. Let's hope Almeria score first. That would be an excellent angle in. Rangers yet to land a blow against Hearts. But Aberdeen did keep it late to get the equaliser last time. Got an odds-on favourite goal. That'll be LSK Linz. Yeah, getting a goal back against Eibar against Alcorcon. 1-0. Who's the odds-on favourite here? Let's have a look. 1.4 favourite pre-match is leading, so that's absolutely no surprise. Boy, oh boy. That new manager has got something going with Crystal Palace. 3-0 up in the London derby. Is it old Easy E from NWA? Is he the one scoring the goals? Let's have a look. $3-0. This is the impact a new manager can have, which is why I always tell you to be very careful of new manager matches. There he is, old Easy E getting the second goal. Olise getting the first. And I wonder if Eberechi has got the third. We don't know just yet. But emphatic stuff from Crystal Palace. When you get such an obvious lead like this, you might as well lay them. It is a London derby after all. Emerson own goal. That could be a good argument for taking them on. Such an early lead for a 2.2 favourite. Wasn't expected by the market, was it? This Slavia Prague, I've just got a feeling they're not up for a 1.13 favouritism today. They don't look up for it at all. Crystal Palace and West Ham. This is a later nothing. It'll be 1.04, 1.05. Or even a little higher, up to 1.1. Let's have a look. 1.05, as I initially suggested. Got to lay. Particularly with the third goal being an own goal. And you can load up all the way through. No problem at all. Very low liability. And 120 for the Hammers. Stick £3 on that. And don't dismiss this. Don't forget Heidenheim were at 200s the other week and they won 3-2. So have a bit of fun. There we go. £6 liability. How about £7 liability for a £400 profit? Oh, I am a West Ham fan for the rest of this match. Aalborg and Kolding is 3-3 after 63 minutes. Keep an eye on that match. If both sides are scoring and conceding 3 goals, then arguably you could be taking them on. Reims have an equaliser against Montpellier. I'm just going to pass on Crystal Palace West Ham. Again, it's very, very low liability, so it's well worth our attention. Crystal Palace 3, West Ham 0. This is a London derby. That's the first point. Second point, Crystal Palace have a new manager. But it's such an early lead that I think Crystal Palace have to be laid at 1.05. And West Ham have to be backed at 100 or 110 plus. Don't forget to back West Ham. I forgot to back Heidenheim a couple of weeks ago when they won 3-2. They were backable at odds as high as 200. So it's a big ask.
This market has been suspended.
A 3-0 deficit for the Hammers, but it's very, very early in the match. It is a London derby. The third goal for Crystal Palace was an own goal. So low liability, big, big upside. Give it a go. Right, that looks quite good. Just getting football 24 worked out again. Tends to fall foul on the old telephone. So that's a good configuration. Look at the clock. 25 minutes has gone. Complacency could set in as well for Crystal Palace. So you've got a lot working for you. They could just be take their eye off the ball. We've done the job, lads. Poor old West Ham. Got a 1-1 against Leverkusen midweek. Highly unlikely to have got a win there. And now they're 3 goals down. I don't know if they've got any injury concerns. Well, this is just the confidence built up from beating the likes of Liverpool. It's self-belief. It's amazing the difference a single score can have. Just that. Trigger that belief
This
all of a
market has
sudden.
been suspended.
I'm just trying to get the football 24 to work again. My apologies. It's messing me about a little bit. We've got a goal of importance. You can hear that in the background. So I'll be looking on that with interest. I've just got to get football 24 back up. It's taking an age to do. So sorry about this. Right, hopefully. It's blank at the moment, so got to get it started again. So we had a goal, an odds-on goal. Sigma Olomouc against Slavia Prague. Oh boy, I told you they weren't in the mood today, were they? So this is concerning, and this is just a reminder to you if you're heading off to the Czech Republic leagues, Romanian leagues, Polish Ekstraklasa. Think of the likes of the Premier League, Bundesliga, Serie A as your staples, your more reliable leagues. Coming down to these, you always flirt with disaster. Czech Republic, Romania, oh dear, Croatia even. But a 0-2 lead for Sigma Olomouc. Oh, Porky scoring that one, and Zivkak. The only positive I can see here is if you play Scrabble, these are some great names, win you a lot of points. Let's have a look. Can we chop up? Let's see if we can have a look at the Slavia Prague match. We do get more speculative, don't we, on a Sunday? It tends to be the habit. We're missing some of the massive sides, the really big European sides, particularly with the Champions League issue at hand as well. So let's have a look. Slavia Prague and Sigma Olomouc. So all you've really got going for you now is any other home score. That's 8.6 now, so that's well worth another little tickle, I believe. So I'm just going to add another fiver to this. Bring the averages down if Sigma Olomouc, if Slavia Prague get a goal. It'll bring the average loss down significantly. So it does help, but you're edging towards a £50 liability now, which is far too much. And laying Sigma Olomouc. Let's just reduce that a little bit. So let's get that down to about 50 and hope that they score the next goal. I don't know why. When you see a match like this, it's always a worry. Penalty for Bournemouth. It's always a worry that it's a fix. Maybe I'm speaking through my wallet. 1.13, losing 0-2. I don't know what the problem is. So that liability is a little bit too high. I wonder if they've been a little complacent. Look at all of these subs, and they've put on a second string side to start off with. You never know. Don't know the backstory. Is this thing going to actually work today? I'll have to stick with this. So let's have a look at Slavia Prague. 3 shots on 12 off 7 corners. Again, this is kind of configuration that had us confident enough to look at a goal before half time. "12 shots off target, 7 corners to 0. Again, it's just got that fix element to it, hasn't it? Or maybe I'm not allowing the market to get it wrong once in a while. 20 minutes is enough time for a 1.13 shot, I hope, to do some good work. Bournemouth, if they convert the penalty, this could be a good angle in. And it looks like they have converted the Cherries. Can we trust Aston Villa today? Let's have a look. Tottenham and Villa are squabbling for that 4th place. So big motivation for Aston Villa today. Villa are winning at the moment, 17 points above the relegation zone for Bournemouth. Their season is petering out. They've only got to look for that prize money for the places now. Only 2 losses for Villa since the 17th of February. Win, loss, win, draw at home. Look at the goals. 4-2, 0-4, 2-0, 3-3. So they have some fight in them. So let's have a look at that. Villa are unbeaten at home against 8th and lower.
This market has been suspended.
I hope that's not the Villa-Bournemouth match. I hope it's Slavia Prague. Only 1 loss in 7 for Bournemouth, though, came against Luton. They've scored in the last 11 away. All defeats away against the top 5, scoring, conceding. 4-0 to Crystal Palace. Blimey, O'Reilly. Is Ian Wright playing today or what? That's unbelievable. But it is a London derby, and that's why we keep our liability low at 3-0. Wow. Quite something from Crystal Palace today. That's why I didn't research it. So Bournemouth are in a bit of form, but they do concede 3 goals away to the top 5, and their opening goal was a penalty. I do just have that feeling that they could be vulnerable. 31st minute. I'll give it a little bit of breathing space. Let's hope that Almeria score first. Look at them having a real go against the Yellow Submarine. 2 shots on 6 off and a corner. Don't forget, Villarreal in excellent form this season. Almeria got nothing to play for. Unless I've done my maths wrong. Let's check the amount of matches left. UK.Soccerway. So 4-0 to Palace, quite something. So let's have a quick look. Almeria, Villarreal. How many matches left this season? So if you go over to uk.soccerway.com, La Liga only. This is an excellent website because it will give you, you can look different competitions, you can look home, you can look away. Fabulous. So all and La Liga, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches remain for Almeria. 5 threes are 15. We head off. That's Almeria B. And there's let's go back up. Almeria Villarreal. Just have a look at the live standings. Add 15 to their points tally. See where that takes them. Probably nowhere. So let's have a look. 15 plus 15 is 30, so they will be relegated. They can't get out of the bottom 3. So I don't know why they're probably because they're at home, front of home support, knowing they're running out of La Liga matches, and they're putting in a good fist of it against home support. But look at the motivation Villarreal have. They're only 8 points away from a top 7 European place. So we've got some potential here if Almeria score first. They've only had 1 win all season, don't forget. So let's go back to the soccer scanner, see if I can get used to using this. I might have to start using this more often. So Everton has ended. Bournemouth goal via a penalty, but no shot on target yet for Aston Villa. Are they going to be a little tired post-Europe? That's another concern. But I did quite fancy Villa on their really good seasonal form. Torino Frosinone, 75th minute at 0-0. This will be a... Do remember this in the future. If you want to bag a double figure odds win, look for teams with under 2.5 goal habits like Torino. Because if they don't score and they're keeping clean sheets, then that 0-0 looks assured for quite a while. Second half is beginning. Werder Bremen and Stuttgart. Let's hope that Stuttgart are reading the script. 2 shots on, 2 shots off, 3 corners. Really, they are the better side. Coming into this in excellent form. Commentary against Man U, likely to be on the BBC with Mr. Lineacre and Alan Shearer.
This market has been suspended.
Oh, suspended market. I'll just make sure you're all okay here. Moises moaning for West Ham. Roberts laid at 1.05. Quite something, that Crystal Palace performance today. Can they do it all season? We've got another potential surprise. We seem to have a lot of these. We've got a 3.1 outsider leading 3-0.
This market has been suspended.
Kortrijk have just scored. Bastards. I was just going to go and have a look at the market there. If the odds are short enough, they're layable enough. We've got a goal back for our old pals Slavia Prague, 77th minute. They're going to have to get the skates on. Now, if you're worried about this, because £50 is a big liability, and it's 2-0 to Werder Bremen, what's going on today? I should have stayed in bed. Wow. 2-0 for Werder Bremen against Stuttgart, who've had 9 wins and 2 draws in the last 11 matches. Let's have a look. Slavia Prague. So instead of a £50 loss, it's looking like an £18 loss at the moment. So if you're getting a bit squeamish, you've got 13 minutes plus extra time left for Slavia Prague. If they can make this a draw, then you'll be guaranteed a £14 loss at least. Rather better than 50, of course. But if you're worried, again, this is a great example. Just of the kind of decisions you have to make, options at exit. So let's have a look at WSP Office. I just want to take a green screen of this. And the Werder Bremen-Stuttgart match, I'm still thinking that Stuttgart will get a goal. If they do, 2-1 is your possible. Could be a day of red screening today at this rate. 2-1 is your get out for Werder Bremen-Stuttgart. So this is options at exit. 1.13 favourite. 0-2 down. Liability can be reduced at 1-2 because it is still... There's a goal for Villarreal. Not a surprise, alas. I really wanted Almeria to score first, and it looked like Almeria could on the in-play stats. So that'll be the goal there for Villarreal. That's as per expectation, but I was really keen on seeing if Almeria could turn that really solid in-play stats into a goal. For Milosao Portimonense, one of these is an odds-on favourite. We need a second goal from Slavia Prague, unless you want to take that £14 green. Almeria have scored, but they've done it in the wrong bloody way. No, they've been disallowed. I was looking for Almeria to score first and then take them on, because Villarreal are in such good form of late. And they've only got the one win all season. Portimonense scoring first. What am I doing? Come on, let's go back.
This market has been suspended.
So Portimonense scored first. Just want to see who's odds on. Pre-match odds. 1.62 for Milosao. So what I like to do with that. And West Ham have a goal back. Fantastic stuff. That could give them some small semblance of belief. But it would have been nicer at 3-0, wouldn't it? Would have been up and running at 3-0. As far as the odds movements is concerned, but 4-0, it's as you were. Look at that. What a pity. 2 shots on 9 off 2 corners. Really giving it a good go. They've got absolutely no motivation. They are relegated. If they win the next 5 matches, they're still relegated. Still not seeing any shot on target from Aston Villa yet. I might wait till the second half for this. Good old Dick Emery giving him a good old team talk. 1.83 favourites. Could be a little lacklustre post-European club competition. That's the only negative there. But we've got the goal back from West Ham. It hasn't impacted, or it won't have impacted upon the market at all, I don't think. So don't forget, you always have your options to exit here. That is a high liability to lose. That, not so much. So let's break off and have a look at West Ham. Well, they've got Wright and Bright playing up front for Palace today. And Vince Hilaire. Let's have a look at Crystal Palace West Ham. It's going to be as you were, because it's still a 3-goal deficit. It's exactly pretty much, isn't it? 110 and 1.04. But I wonder what kind of a movement you got. We can't see that, can we? Because it didn't go to 3-1. It would have been interesting to see what kind of a movement you'd have got from 3-0 to 3-1 before half-time as well. It would have been quite a significant move, enough to have us interested second half in a 3-2. That would be excellent. So Aston Villa Bournemouth, I'm going to wait till half-time, famous last words, and hope that it remains 0-1. I don't see any shots on target from Aston Villa. It could be down to the stats feed being wrong, but I'm not too sure. You can double check. Check with Soccer 24 at least. Oh, don't give us a VAR. Come on, 4-1 would be excellent. We could really work with a 4-1. So let's have a look at the Solanke goal for Bournemouth. Yep, we know that already. What are the stats looking like? Are they accurate with no shots on target for Aston Villa? Indeed, no shots on target. So the stats feed from Soccer 24, soccerscanner.net is looking accurate. So that needs to change. I don't know if there's been any resting in the ranks at Villa, given their fixture list. They've got plenty of motivation to keep the Champions League place up and running. You know how good Unai Emery is in Europe. So let's go to the lineups. I'd like to see some subs second half. That might be the impetus to change. Ollie Watkins up front. There's the Almeria equaliser. And again, it's the wrong way round. We wanted Almeria to score first. Watkins, Diaby, Rogers, Bailey, McGinn, Tielemans. Who's on the bench? Sparta Prague have done it, 2-2. So you don't have to worry about that 50 quid now. You don't have to worry about that 50 quid liability. As long as it remains 2-2, the maximum you'll lose is 14 quid here. We've got 5 minutes plus extra time for Slavia Prague to prove that they are 1.13 favourites. Martinez has been rested. Oh, no, he hasn't. That's the starting lineup. Substitutes. Diego Carlos, Duran. Don't recognise many of these. Buendia, Douglas Luiz, Kamara, Tyrone Mings, Moreno, Ramsey, Zaniolo. It's quite an injury list there. Let's break off and have a look at Slavia Prague. You should be feeling a lot happier now at the 2-2. For any correct score to work, it needs to be 4-2 to Slavia Prague. So you either, I know I've spelt it wrong, but it should capture it. No, maybe not. You either have faith in the market or you don't. So that's looking a bit rosier, isn't it? Or you're in green screen territory. That's why you try to get these over 100 quid, because it works in generating that green. Now, you've got a dilemma. If you're having a losing day, or if you've hit a couple of losses earlier on, hoover up your greens, like your mother used to tell you. Eat your greens. That £14 is a third of your liability in any other match if you're using a £40 liability. Aston Villa have equalised and I didn't take action. And it was a strong play, and it's typical. I wait till second half and they score in the 45th or 49th minute or whatever it was. But that would have been a strong play given Bournemouth penalty, but no shots on target for Aston Villa. Had me hoping that they would wait until the second half, but that I put down as a losing, as one that got away. Unless you did it yourself, don't forget to please, if you're happy with what you're seeing and hearing, regardless of whether I've done it or not, why don't you have a go yourself? You'd have got yourself. We could have got involved in the half-time market again, couldn't we? There. This is another option at exit. Good profit or take a loss on the draw for the hope of £86. What will you do? Always these options at exit. What's your out? Are you going to take that 17 quid? Bearing in mind you might have had some losses earlier on. Which would that be? I think the Werder Bremen one, for example, if that stays as is, that could be a concern. So that £18.70 is looking a bit nicer now, isn't it? You can't really negate that. You can negate that 50 quid if that's playing on your mind. That'll just take a skim off a little bit of the profit. But at 16.5, you can get rid of that 50 very quickly. If Sigma Olomouc are scoring 2 goals today, they might be in the mood for an upset. So have a quick look. How much is this going to cost to get rid of this 50 quid? So keep it going. It's going to increase the draw losses, as you can see. And the profit's not really being eaten into, is it? So you could even leave it like that, a £5 on Sigma. At least you know that if you get an upset, it's no worries. How about if we get rid of the draw as well? 61 quid for the sake of a 5 quid loss. That's quite nice. And again, that's going to go in my options at exit pile. So you had an option for an £18 green screen, or you got an option. Well, you can keep this option. That's quite nice. Or you could load up on Slavia Prague for a pretty much free punt. Don't forget, we're talking about a 1.13 shot pre-match. For a £5 liability, you've got a £60 possible profit. I'm trying to do my Carol Vorderman maths here. That's wow. 10 to 1, 11 to 1, 12 to 1, 13 to 1, 15 to 1 perhaps. So it's a pretty decent risk reward, isn't it? So don't forget you've got multiple options at exit, and at any time you can still get out if you're using software like this, which, as you've seen, is far more effective than the Betfair.com cash out facility. I don't know anyone who can work out variable profit Dutching ratios off the top of their head. That calculator on its own pays for the subscription for Fairbot. It really is quite superb. The goal for West Ham has stood, so we've got some hope second half. All we need is for West Ham to score the second goal or the next goal, and that 4-2 is only a 2-goal lead then. This an own goal, but Matata getting the fourth is a bit of a concern. Antonio, we need him to come alive second half. So 59 quid would be very, very nice indeed for Slavia Prague. That will cover the current loss on Stuttgart. I must check the in-play stats out. I don't know why Stuttgart are underperforming today. Werder Bremen have shown F all season. 3 shots on 2 off and 3 corners. 1.7 pre-match favs. Not much doing in the last 10 minutes though for Stuttgart. 2-1 is a good exit point if you wanted to cover your losses or lower your losses. Aston Villa really should have been a profitable play. What a pity. Apologies about that. We need profitable plays today, and Aston Villa would have been one. So let's hope the remote comes back. There we go. So that's the Slavia Prague. 59 would be very, very welcome. Let's have a look at Stuttgart at the moment. Now, the only way you can cover this 2-0 is John H's excellent idea. Both teams to score no. Really. I don't know where he got that from, but brilliant. Both teams to score no will cover 0-1, cover 0-2, cover 0-3, cover 0-4. We'll get a lower liability if we can get a Stuttgart goal soon. So we're in a spot of bother at the moment. You can't really... You could cover the 0-2 by laying over 2.5 goals, but that doesn't cover the 1-2, does it? And at this stage of the match, how much is this going to cost you? But at 1-2, you'll lose anyway. 17 quid, so a bit much. Can you add that to that? You've got 21 loss there, but it's 33 currently here. Just have to wait. Correct score. See if we can Dutch. 0-2, 1-2. Probably not. 3.3 and 3.95. I wouldn't look at 3-0 myself. 2-0, 2-1. All the other scorelines are covered in the match odds market. Required profit. 64 quid to do that. Ouch. So we have to perhaps take the hit. And that's when those green screens of £14 and £10 and £11 suddenly start adding up. And they don't look that bad after all, do they? If you take Hoffenheim's 14 quid away from this, you take that 11 quid earlier on that you could have got away from this, it suddenly eats into that liability. Torino Frosinone ends 0-0. Under 2.5 goals. Don't forget that in the future when you see that kind of pattern. 6 consecutive under 2.5 goal matches at home. Normally a good indicator for a 0-0. But this is 3 drop points for Torino today. It really is. 9th place. They're going to have a real trouble getting into the European places here. Frosinone, they'll take a point. It's better than nothing at all. So let's have a look at the standings. Torino Frosinone. So they remain 9th. They're still getting there. 6-point gap, though, to 7th is getting a bit too big. Frosinone are still hanging in with Udinese, but they played a game more. Udinese played yesterday and lost So Frosinone didn't take advantage of that and didn't take advantage of the opportunity to get up to 30 points today with a win. But 1 point is crucial. It keeps Verona and Empoli within sight. Verona getting the win. So imagine if Verona didn't win, they'd have been down on 28. So a point is better than nothing, I think, for Fros. They'll be happy with that. So let's go have a look at our odds-ons. How are they doing? And this is a bit of a shock. Lots 2-2 against odds-on favourites Lech Poznan. Aston Villa bitterly disappointed here. This was money waiting to be grabbed, but no shots on target was the reason why I decided to wait until the second half. But Unai Emery's got this Villa side working very, very well indeed. 4:30, Liverpool. Can they cock up their season away at Fulham? A tough encounter this for a Reds lacking in confidence. Stuttgart, well, first goal was a penalty. It's old Dutch. Somebody give him a tap on the old shin pads. And now Ben Stiller, he misses the next match. So we're hoping for a 2-1 for Stuttgart. There's 20 plus minutes to go. But they come into this in really superb form. You'd really hoped that they could pull that off. Fiorentina really should be eyeing the win against Salernitana a bit later on. Salernitana relegated already, like Almeria. Atalanta, can they gain momentum from that historic two-legged win against Liverpool FC? Can they gain their momentum? Feyenoord at 5 o'clock. Should do the business. NEC Nijmegen, though, the only side to have beaten PSV Eindhoven this season. So 1.25 might look a little skinny, particularly as it's a cup match as well. Almeria Villarreal could be one for a later draw second half.
Market has been suspended.
Hopefully that's a Slavia Prague winner. That would be excellent. So let's hope for that. No, that's been a card or something. That's finished 2-2. There we go. So maximum loss rather than 50 of about 14 there. So looking on the positive side, that's okay. Really underperforming from Slavia Prague today, but these kind of matches in future, particularly when it's 2-2 late on and they pull it off, can really get you huge rewards. Not so today, but we come out of it relatively unscathed. And again, that £14 at half-time market yesterday for Hoffenheim at 1-0, starting to look pretty good, isn't it? Because that would have negated the liability here. So have a think whenever you see a green screen. You want to take it because then you can lock in real money, or do you want to look for a bigger return and take a loss? Over the course of a season, it will be swings and roundabouts. The loss you make on Slavia Prague, for instance, could be negated by a win elsewhere further on down the line. So let's go through, have a look at the in-play stats. Still half-time in the Premier League. We're hoping that we get a decent team talk from West Ham. We're hoping for a bit of complacency from Crystal Palace. It is a London derby. I think we're well placed in laying at 3-0 so early on. Got the goal we craved, but alas, they conceded before they scored. Werder Bremen and Stuttgart, well, it's very, very quiet from Stuttgart, isn't it? Worryingly quiet from Stuttgart. That's the Lech Poznan winner, I think, there. And Hacken and Hammarby. So when you hear that sound, that's a goal in an odds-on favourite match. 2-0 to 2-1. Is that the Stuttgart match? Yes, it is. So we might be up and running. Might be up and running there. Just want to check Hammarby and Hacken. 1.83, a goal down. So that's a potential play. We got the goal back from Stuttgart. Brilliant. Now, in a day of what could be collecting red screens, which we don't want, you can half your loss now, having loaded up again. So, yet again, Some days you'll have to take red. It's not very, it doesn't happen that often. But when you don't get the rub of the green, that one goal has halved your liability. So have a think. You're going to take that 22. So what was that? 0-2 to 1-2. A single goal has halved your liability on Werder. But how long is left? Will Stuttgart revert to the form they had coming into this match? A 2-2 would be very nice here indeed. 2-2 would be a £4 loss. So have a think. You get half your liability returned just for that single goal. That's what we were looking at, wasn't it? 2-0 to 2-1. Way up the amount of time left. 73 minutes. 20 minutes left for Stuttgart. In exceptional recent form. Undav scoring. If you look at their recent form, it really is pretty decent. Look. Win, win, draw. 2-3 would be rather nice. Wonder how that one turned out. They were coming from behind there as well. No, they actually led. 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 2-3. So no problems there. But really good form. 2 goals scored, 2 goals scored. 3, 3, 3. So hopefully Stuttgart can wake up. Hopefully Werder Bremen will revert to type. 2 goals conceded. That's a friendly. 2 goals conceded. 5 goals conceded. So these are the decisions you have to make at exit. Do you cash out for a loss, or do you wait and hope for a smaller loss? Or do you have to take the full 100% loss? Now, with a goal back, you can always lay over 2.5 goals to cover the 2-1, can't you? Lay the draw. Oh, sorry, Bosun. Torino Frosinone still nil at 89 minutes again. 6 consecutive under 2.5 goal matches for them. West Ham just misread a goal. Good goal, Aston Villa. So we're waiting second half, hopefully, for a Hammers recovery. Man United had the opening goal against Coventry, by the way. And no great surprise. No great surprise to see a connection error yet again. Hopefully they'll sort this out. That's more like it, isn't it? I was a bit worried we were seeing 0-0-0, 0-0-0 for Stuttgart. And that's the last 10 minutes as well. But looks like they've come alive. Possibly down to a substitution or 2. Let's have a look. As normally when you see the signs of recovery. Yeah, a couple of subs. Dahoud and Silas. And then you get the goal 6 minutes afterwards. So we're holding out for a 2-2 there. And that's when that Aston Villa profit becomes even more important not to have missed. Because it will cover for that Stuttgart possible loss, won't it? So let's have a look through. Well, not the guru anymore. Second half, waiting. Much, much better. That's more like it. They are in exceptional form of late. Villarreal Almeria will be looking second half for a possible later draw here. Villarreal would be eyeing 3 points here. See how crucial it would be for Villarreal. Life standings. Let's have a look. Yeah, Villarreal, 2 more points added to that, comes to 42. That's only 6 points shy of Real Betis in 7th place. Promotion, Europa Conference League qualifier. They'd be delighted with that. Really, you should be eyeing 3 points if you're playing bottom of the league, who are already relegated. Salzburg, 1.25. First time they've been odds on for a very, very long time. Well, very, very short odds on. and a goal up after 6 minutes. So that pretty much sums up a 1.25 shot. What's out? The Chavs have scored. So they might celebrate by nicking your catalytic converter from your car when you're not looking. So watch out for the Chavs. You'll see them. They're all wearing Fred Perry tracksuits and are smoking roll-ups at half time. They've got the lead. They are relegation threatened, the Chavs, today, or this season. So it'll be one to watch. So excuse me for a second. Just got to get Football 24 back up and working again. Don't know what's wrong with me and technology at the moment. So hopefully I can figure something out, because I need these scores coming in. You've got to have these scores continuously updating. Okay, so let's hope Football 24 is behaving. 1-0 to the Chavs against Estoril. Can I have a look at the odds and the league positions? 17th in the league against 14th, so it's kind of like a relegation 6-pointer. And the Chavs have started well. 2 shots on, 5 off, and a corner. It's not going to be one to really fixate on too much. 2.45 the favourite, but just interesting to see, given the league positions, whether Estoril can fight back. I think we can get rid of the Guru at the moment. Hopefully it'll return. Let's go back to the scanner and work our way through the in-play stats again. Red card for Famalicão, odds on favourites. A goal down at Portimonense probably ends our interest in a possible recovery there. Come on, Nate. Stuttgart, 15 minutes to get that second goal. 73 attacking pressure index. Good to see. But what I would like to see is a goal in the back of the net. 2 shots off, 3 corners in the last 5 minutes, giving us a bit of hope to get that 2-2. But they're going a real long way about it, aren't they? Rangers and Hearts. Well, second half is beginning and Hearts are not rolling over, getting their tummy tickled, are they? 2 shots on, 2 shots off, 3 corners. Very decent display from Hearts, third in the league. If it remains 1-0, 70th minute, I will look to lay Rangers and hope that what we saw yesterday from Aberdeen against Celtic can come to fruition today. That's the red card now for Famalicão, who were putting in a good fist of it on the comeback trail against Portimonense, but likely that's going to knock the stuffing out of them now. So we'll just get rid of some of these. Goal in odds on favourites. That's Viking and Fredrikstad, Norwegian Elite Serien. Viking are normally odds on favourites. 1.8, so that's certainly going to get our attention if we can find Norway here. England, Zambia, there's no, and then Germany. I don't understand the setup here, unless it's done via time. So I'll maybe send him an email and ask him. And I'll try to work on the settings here. This looks like we'll be needing soccerscanner.net as a backup until the Guru works again. It's just happening a little too often for in-play Guru, which is a real pity. It's a world-class in-play stats. Just the amount of money these in-play stats can make you is, well, the angles in that they can give you is just immense. Look at all this lot. Panathinaikos, well, that's no surprise at all. 0-2 up. We've got the big guns playing today. Olympiacos, PAOK. Copenhagen are leading. That's no surprise against Silkeborg. Spanish La Liga 2, Eldense against Albacete, 0-0 at half-time. Again, where's the shots on target? We're missing quite a few, aren't we, today? 15th against 20th, so arguably a relegation 6-pointer-ish there. Let's get rid of Malta, Montenegro, and these others. That'll be the Maritimo goal, I think. Odds on. So one of these two is an odds on favourite. I think it would be Maritimo, wouldn't it? Because they used to be in the top flight. Indeed, so no surprise there for us at the moment with that one. So let's carry on and get rid of some of these leagues that we don't want to see. Hopefully it'll make my job a little easier. Allsvenskan. Odds on favourite Bromma are leading. Odds on favourite Häcken. I've conceded the first goal, but it's very, very early in the league. Only 3 or 4 matches. So just be very careful, because you saw yesterday Sirius failed to win against a side conceding 2+ goals in each of the last 3 matches. The mighty young boys are in play today. Only 2.2. They got us a 68 quid profit last week. Odds on favourite last week, cocking it up as usual and then fighting back. But they're priced to be in a more competitive match today. But we'll keep an eye with interest on the young boys. One of those sides you can rely upon, like Bodo Glimt. Season in, season out. Really good trading side. This is a Zagreb derby, but the similar odds to the opening match after the winter break, which Lokomotiv Zagreb won. I don't think they have head-to-heads here. So it's going to be an interesting one. 1.5 is a little bit too short for Dinamo Zagreb in a Zagreb derby against a side who has beaten them often enough in the past. So let's just finish off with these leagues that we don't want to see. Hopefully make my life a little easier and we can zoom into the leagues of interest. So second half to beginning, Aston Villa and Bournemouth. Possibility to lay that second half draw. But the profitable position has already departed, I'm afraid, with that Aston Villa goal just on the cusp of half time. It's galling when I want to get involved second half. The solitary shot on target as well. Wouldn't you credit it? 46th minute. Well, West Ham are going to have to bring El Twitchio back. Old Harry Redknapp. He knows how to get them out of a spot of bother. They'll need him today in this London derby. And Panathinaikos, I don't think we need to be updated on them anymore. That was Panathinaikos, okay. So we don't need an update there. Don't think we need an update here anymore with the red card unlikely to play into our hands. Looking for an equaliser for Milasau, 1.62 pre-match, so strongly fancied. And that's a pity, that third goal. But another reminder to you, could have made a £14, was it? Or an £18 green screen here on the last Glint's match. So don't forget, as traders, we're just looking for the odds movement, aren't we? 0-2 to 1-2, that's your odds movement. Now it's up to you afterwards. But if you green up here, anything that happens post 57th minute, couldn't care less. That's the beauty of greening up. So second half's beginning. Villa and Bournemouth. With the amount of goals coming in Aston Villa matches at home, well, surely we can see this draw end at some point. 3 dangerous attacks already. 6 minutes into the second half for Aston Villa. Just the 1 shot on target, but an effective shot on target, equaling a goal. Come on the Hammers. Bring Sir Trevor Brooking on second half. Get a header from a corner. Make it 4-2. Come on, Stuttgart, running out of time. But don't forget, when you get that 2-0 to 2-1, it's that third goal that gives you the possibility of taking a smaller loss if you're in a loss position. You saw £40 compared to 20. 20 at 2-1, green up. 40 is the current liability. That's not covered. on Stuttgart just yet. This would be covered if we did both teams to score no, and covered the 2-1 as well, which I normally tend to do. But the timing of the Werder Bremen goal was a little bit too late to get a really decent price about both teams to score no. But you probably would have done, given Stuttgart a third in the league, highly expected to score. So have a think, both teams to score no in certain matches. Well done to Man U, currently just a single shot on target against Coventry. Put up a brilliant display against Wolves, Coventry, so they might still believe.
This market has been suspended.
Right, suspended market, Rangers and Hearts as well. And it's 0-2 to Man United. There we go. I don't think that's the suspended market goal, because I didn't have that match up. Yeah, 0-2 to Man U and 0-4 to Panathinaikos. So I don't know which one of our markets was suspended. No, not a clue. Maybe the Almeria Villarreal at half time. That looks to be the only reason for a suspended market. So it's very early in the Elite Serie for us to be totally confident, but keep an eye. Look at that huge drift for Sarpsborg, 1.57 out to evens. Now, I don't know, I haven't been collecting stats about drifters, and certainly for horse racing would be interesting, but for football, 1.91 into 1.67, does that suggest there is a Mulder injury to a key player? Because these two are probably going to finish in the top 3 this season. While Rangers remains 1-0, I'll stick with the 70th minute as an entry point, because Hearts are keeping them within arm's length. So Aston Villa Bournemouth, it looks very tight. Second shot on target for Villa. Let's have a look at the draw odds. Oh, we've got suspended market. Werder Bremen and Stuttgart. Anything to report? Penalty would normally show up here. Nope. Break in play. Referee Robert Schroeder must have a signal in his ear. He indicates he will check that earlier penalty claim by Stuttgart using VAR. This could be interesting. Ah, excellent stuff. A VAR penalty claim for Stuttgart. Get your prayer mats out. That would be very nice indeed if we can get that 2-2. If we can get that ref to give us that penalty. Here comes the ref decision. It's not a penalty. You're not a Betfair trader, are you? Oh, and perfectly timed as well, look. 90th minute would be fantastic. 2-1. Oh, man. 2-2 with a penalty. But no, Mr. VAR decides otherwise. So Aston Villa Bournemouth, I'll just get the match up. That draw could be gettable. Still suspended, so there's still hope that we could have another VAR. So Aston Villa and Bournemouth, that's the one we were after. Just want to look at the draw odds. So let's go through. Oh, man. As you can see, it's 2-1 to Aston Villa. That's 2 plays I've missed out on. I wanted to lay the draw because if you've read the research, you'll know the amount of goals in Aston Villa home matches. What were the draw odds like? Probably heading towards 3.5, which I quite like. And again, it's vitally important we get these winners because they'll balance out the losers. That's probably a disallowed goal. So 2 disallowed goals. but this one is stuck. So we could have got below evens for a lay the draw there, and I was just about to pull the trigger on it as well and let you know, but didn't get there in time. Bad timing. I just noticed the increase in the shots on target for Villa, and looking at the research, I hope one or two of you did play, because you'd have made nice money on this match. This should have been a nice green screen match. Let's have a look. Unbeaten against 8th and lower, scoring 2+ goals regularly against 8th and lower. 4-2, 0-4, 2-0, 3-3 recently at home as well. Both teams to score, scoring and conceding 3 goals minimum. So we had the ammunition there to lay that draw, and that's just bad timing, really. I was just about to get to the market, but who got the goal? Diaby, 57th minute. Oh, so that's could have been a very profitable match, this. Aston Villa equaliser. Lay the draw second half at under 3s, which is pretty decent, given there's a half hour to go. With that Aston Villa record, fantastic. And now we've got a bloody 90th minute penalty missed, or VAR against, for Stuttgart. So that's disappointing. Well, we got sorry, some major fridge issues on the messenger. Excuse me for a sec. Right, excuse me. Right. Vital information about fridges. Right, we've got a goal in. And that's gone to Copenhagen 2-0, so I think we can ignore that. We don't need any more updates on FC Copenhagen. They're playing rather well today. So we only got PSG and Lyon coming up later on. Right, we get Football 24 back up again. Okay. So a bit of bad luck with that Stuttgart late penalty being VAR'd out. That would have got us a very nice, if it was converted, of course, very nice 2-2, and getting out of jail free there. Well, West Ham showing absolutely no signs of any recovery at all. Crystal Palace just sort your defence out. Almeria Villarreal, watch out for this for a potential late later draw, particularly 13 shots off target. Almeria, which we'll be happy to take on. And Villarreal really should be eyeing 3 points here against such a struggling side as Almeria. Rangers and Hearts, 8 minutes away from my first port of call, 70th minute for that particular match. Typical cup match, this. You saw it with Celtic yesterday, very tight. Aberdeen led 1-0, then it was 1-1, then it was 1-2, then it was 2-2. So we could get that kind of interest today. What a pity with Famalicão. Kind of a profile of a team that could have got an equaliser, don't they? But that red card, very, very off-putting. Obvious favourites, Lamia, Panathinaikos. Relegation 6-pointer this one. Odense against Albacete, La Liga 2. We can have a quick look while it's a little quiet. Odense and Albacete. So let's have a look at this one. All right, challenge table probably be the first port of call. 14th against 20th, so definite need for a goal, for a win or points for Albacete, but they have failed to beat any top 15 side away from home this season. 1-1 last time these two met. Eldense, a couple of wins against sides either side of Albacete at home, scoring 2+ goals as well. 0-2 loss to Andorra though. So this could be favouring Eldense on seasonal form. 1 shot on 7 off. It's not really a match to get too excited with, is it? Allsvenskan, well, we're just at half time at the moment. Hacken are odds on favourites and a goal down. Young Boys 0-0 at half time. Not sure if we could take on that 0-0 second half. 2.2 the favourite. Normally, though, they do conjure up a goal or two. Zagreb derby, 26 minutes in. Very tight at 0-0, as you'd expect in such a match. So we'll get rid of these ones. Bendel Insurance at 0-0. And the Elite Serien, we haven't had a look at that yet. It's still early in the season, so we need compelling evidence via the stats. And Haugesund, 2 shots on 3 off from 4 corners against Rosenborg. 2.2 the favourite though. Brann, 1.29 pre-match. Not quite keeping with those odds. But Haugesund, 2 shots on 3 off 4 corners, looks quite good. Have to keep an eye, see whether they can continue that pressure, whether Rosenborg will be layable if they can continue that. But all the other matches, they look very difficult. Viking have conceded first against Fredrikstad. 1.8 favourites at home, Viking. So just a couple of interest there. I wonder if Haugesund can continue against Rosenborg. So we'll just keep an eye on the in-play stats. 4:30 now. I'll keep going for a little bit longer, unless you want to go off and watch the FA Cup. Just get the Premier League matches done. Absolutely nothing from West Ham, and it looks like Stuttgart's race is run. But a very good reminder to you from the Stuttgart match, isn't it, about taking, or when and if to take a loss. 2-1 is always a good scoreline to take a loss at if you've backed the side and they haven't delivered. Oh, Football 24 is messing me about again. Oh man. There we go. Good. Alcorcon red card, 55th minute, but already we've got a goal from Ibar, so there's nothing going on there. So tough old coupon today.
This market has been suspended.
Well, we've got plenty of Fergie time for Stuttgart, so no really excuses. An extra 10 minutes. We still couldn't conjure up that goal to make it 2-2. 5-1 to Palace. I think our dreams of 300 quid profit on West Ham are dashed. Poor old Stuttgart. To get the old violins out for that VAR penalty in the 90th minute. Oh, man. Oh. 88th minute. Gutted. And that's ended. This would have been a break even had you done both teams to score no. So plenty of lessons to be had there. It's always a ready option. I might show you the option in the next opportunity that we have. Both teams to score no. Maybe an early Fulham goal would be a good example of that, wouldn't it? What I would do with both teams to score no at 1-0 to Werder Bremen, I would go to both teams to score, market, back no to win the amount of money I want to work with. So, for example, £40. Then I would go into the correct score market. I would back Werder Bremen 2-1. because both teams to score no, covers
This market has been suspended.
1-0, covers 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. Doesn't cover 2-1 if you happen to get a Stuttgart goal back. Now, I'm assuming here that both teams to score no would have been pretty decent odds, given Stuttgart third in the league, or thereabouts. Austria Klagenfurt have equalised against Red Bull Salzburg, as you can see here. 1.23 favourites, Austria Klagenfurt. Sorry, Salzburg 1.23. Fulham and Liverpool kicking off. So if you want to watch that, I might just go for another 15 minutes then, because I'd like to watch that as well. So we'll give it another 15. So got to keep an eye on the in-play stats, particularly see whether the likes of Villarreal will offer us anything. And there's a 1.29 shots, Bran. Now, if this was a bit later in the season, you'll remember Slavia Prague, 1.13. Well, there we go. That perhaps sums up their poor start. When you've got a 1.29 shot, you're normally expecting a goal before half-time, win to 0, 3-0, 3-1, any other home score. But it's only very, very early in the season. So it's a bit cavalier of the market to give them 1.29. That looks a tad short on really no form to work off. Let's have a look at Salzburg. Are they dominating Klagenfurt? Well, no, they're not. For a 1.3 shot, it's pretty poor. But it's only 30 minutes gone. But only one shot on, 3 off and 3 corners. Not the 20-minute rule, this one, because the opening goal came in the first 5 minutes. Possibility of laying the draw at some point. So I might actually call it a day, and because we've got this one now. Leverkusen have already won the title, so you don't know their mentality here at all. Whether Xabi Alonso will play his grandparents up front, or his wife as left back. Normally against these top 5 sides, we've seen a lot of score draws for Leverkusen when they were in competitive mode. 70th minute now for Rangers against Hearts. So let's have a look at the odds. Can they do, Hearts, can they do what Aberdeen did yesterday, get a late equaliser, bring this one to extra time? Let's have a look. So 1-0 is a very laboured scoreline. Reasonably short enough. Let's see how much it will cost. The Hearts have been a good trading side this season, but not necessarily when they're playing the Old Firm. But outside the Old Firm, they have been very reliable and they've produced some really good results. And at 1-0, I don't know whether backing Hearts would be reasonable, because you're only looking for the draw. The draw is in play. Oh, suspenders on the 70th minute. Come on. Put my hopes up there. Look, bang on the 70th minute. And I'll wait for this to get a little bit higher. There we go. That's a bit better. 55. So there we go. That's Salzburg already 2-1 before half-time. And there's a Viking equaliser against Fredrikstad. They were the odds-on favourite. But you see my reluctance early season to get involved with these favourites unless it's compelling. So we'll have a look at Viking. Not really compelling anywhere, is there? No shots on, 1 off and 2 corners. On that basis, I wouldn't have taken on Fredrikstad lead, but the market looking good. Far too few matches played in the Norwegian Elite Serie for us to be ultra confident. So let's just go through this again. There we go. That's the equaliser there. So they are there. There's trades to be made, but it's far too early in the season, really, to be hugely confident. We've got another odds-on favourite goal. That's 3-1 to Salzburg. So that's exactly what you expect of a 1.29 shot, isn't it? Didn't lay the draw in the half-time market. And look at that. Job done. So the odds-on favourites are delivering at the moment, apart from Stuttgart. So I think we can dismiss. There's the goal in the El Denza match against Albacete, and it's gone to Albacete. I think we can get rid of the Austrian. We don't need any updates on that. And the El Denza Albacete is here. Oh, no, it's not. So we'll keep an eye on the stats for that. I might actually call it a day now, because we're really running out of strong candidates at the moment. We've got, as I say, Leverkusen already won the title. This is job done. I've missed both trades here, which is a pity. Possibility of lay the draw, but then Almeria dominating, and I don't need to win. It's a very strange day today. Man U already 0-2 up. 74th minute, we're just waiting to see whether Hearts can get that equaliser that we need. Really good performance from Kortrijk to come back to 2-3. Can they bring the 3-3 with 20 minutes to go? For Milasau, what a pity that they got red carded. That would have been a possible trade there. So a tough old coupon today. And good lessons in greening up, particularly today. Greening up early would have saved your bacon on a couple of occasions. And knowing when to take a red screen as well, an important lesson from today. Look at that, all of these leagues. So I'll say goodbye to you. Thank you very much for coming along. Hopefully, I'll see you for a few more trades. I'm going to be at least following all the teams until the Liverpool match is over at least. And if there is anything of interest, I'll pass on to you. Thanks very much for coming along. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Thanks, Bosun and everyone else. And I'll see you again.